Hop on the drone for a ride and come on in. You are looking at the brand new Intera Field at Raider Stadium. And tonight, the 46 crew comes here for the very first time as we bring you Northern Lakes Conference action. It's the Concord Minutemen and the Northridge Raiders on the 46th game of the week. And how you doing, everybody, on a beautiful autumn night? I'm joined by the Hall of Fame partners, Bob Nagel and Bo Hunt. Chuck Freeby, great to have you with us for what we think will be an exciting night of football here on TV 46. Exciting is certainly the way Concord plays its games this year. They've won 2 games in overtime this year, Bob Nagel. Craig Kaler's team does it with the usual spread offense.
You know, Chuck, a couple of weeks ago, we were just glad to be playing football, but these two teams are glad to be playing each other. They have so much respect for each other. Craig Kaler loves to throw the football, and Hunter Dutton has done a nice job, but he's got a nice target, and Jack Darcy, you're going to have to watch him tonight. The defense will hit you. They got some size there as well. So I just think that it's one of those things where Craig Kaler, as he told you a few minutes ago, he's ready for this game tonight.
Well, I think we're kind of at a point where, you know, we either got to start getting, making that push and continuing to progress each week, or go the other way. I think this is going to be a big game in determining, where we end up when this thing's all said and done at the end of the season. And the scoreboard tonight probably is not going to dictate that. We're looking for things, some measurable and tangible things that we got to get better at. And obviously, we have a very good opponent that we got to try and get that done.
We are in farm country here in Middlebury, and it is harvest season. And for the Northridge defense this year, they've been harvesting goose eggs. 4 shutouts in 6 games.
Yeah, they're very tough defensively, as we've seen on film. And one of the things about their offense, too, is they like to possess the ball a little bit. Now, Logan Hooley can throw the ball, a left-hander. But a lot of times the best throw he can make is to the guy running by him, and that's Dominic Crowder, who's an outstanding back, big, strong, strapping young man. I think, Chuck, what's going to come down to, and, he just had a chance a moment ago to talk with the head coach about how important it's going to be mentally ready for a real physical contest.
Well, I tell you what, Craig Kaler does a great job year in, year out, week in, week out. They're a group much like we are. I mean, you look at what their mentality was last week. They had a shutdown as far as having to pick up a game really quick. They wanted to just play football, so they grabbed Eastside, a really good team in 2A. And, it's a testament to what high school athletes are all about. These guys just want to play football every Friday. It's a great opportunity. Craig in Concord is always so physical. They're going to be fundamentally set. They're going to be aligned properly, and they're going to play good football. And that is the thing about why we look forward to this. This is our neighbor. We have houses that butt up to the Dunlap line, and so we are just looking forward to just having a good Elkhart County football game tonight.
Bo Hunt joins us on the sidelines tonight, and Bo, a real contrast of styles with these two teams. Concord wants everything on the perimeter. Northridge would like to keep you in a nice little box between the tackles.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Concord, they want to get out, and they want to score 1, 2, 3 plays, and they would like to get their offense off the field with a score, whereas Northridge drive it, sustain drives. The team that possibly gets up early, especially like a Concord team, it's harder for a team like Northridge to come back from that. So the early first and second quarters are really important in this game.
The tournament may be 2 weeks away, but we have a tournament atmosphere here tonight in this Northern Lakes Conference battle. We're back with the Jordan Automotive Keys to Win and the opening kick next on the 46th game of the week.
This is the WHME TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week. Brought to you by Intera Credit Union, Bills Heating, Jordan Automotive Group, TCU, Aegis Dental Group, Crown Trophy, Imagineering Finishing Technologies, and the IHSAA.
This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you by the Jordan Automotive Group. Simple, easy, stress-free. Welcome everybody to the Stutzman Power Equipment pregame show as we get you ready for kickoff between Concord and Northridge here at Intera Field. Time now to look at our keys to win, brought to you by the Jordan Auto Group. And for the Concord Minutemen, they have a guy that's kind of Mr. Everything. His name's Jack D'Arcy. He is the leading receiver on this team, the junior with 36 catches on the year. On the defensive side, He's got a couple of interceptions, and he's a dynamic punt returner as well. But he doesn't have to do it alone. He gets a lot of help from Zavin Koltukian, the 6'5", 210-pound junior, plays linebacker, and he plays it very well. 65 tackles to lead the team, including 10 for loss. The keys to win for Craig Kaler and the Minutemen.
Well, Chuck, first of all, defensively, they got to hold Woolsey in check. That's the quarterback from Northridge. That's if you can catch him, you can hold him in check. He's pretty greasy, they like to say. They got to fix the turnover margin. They have had an unbelievable amount of turnovers compared to their opponents, and yet they're 4-2, and they can't continue to do that. And they've got to finish in the red zone. They got to get points when they can, and it's going to be difficult tonight, as we know, going into the game against Northridge. Craig Kaler now in his 6th year at Concord with a record of 42 up and 19 down.
Northridge is playing with a bit of a banged-up squad tonight. They have some players that are out with injuries. They have one key one who is playing with an injury. Dom Crowder may have a broken thumb on that right hand, but it won't keep him from playing running back and linebacker tonight. He has 441 yards and 7 touchdowns rushing the football, and he's the top tackler on the team on defense. And then Bob mentioned Logan Woolsey, the 5'8" senior. Not very big, but he's really quick. 458 rushing yards 492 rushing yards, 458 passing yards, so he can hurt you with his legs and his arm. The keys to win for Tom Woggeman and the Northridge Raiders.
Well, Tom is really focusing in on this. They have to eliminate their penalties. Just over 100 yards last week. They can't be doing that. It really bogs down their offensive drives when they have those penalties. They got to get physical, and they know that Concord will be, so you got to match that intensity, and they got to win the turnover battle. And the question is, will Concord keep giving, or we're going to have to take it away? Tom Woggeman, what a job he's done. He's in his 14th season as a head coach, 76 wins, 69 losses.
This has been a hotly contested series since 1976. The Minutemen lead it 34-7, but Concord won last year by the count of 10-0 back on October 11th, 2019. As you take a look at the big video board, and here come the Raiders coming out of their locker room at this beautiful facility and about to charge through the sign between the cheerleaders, many of them wearing pink in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And you can see the Raiders getting fired up, and here they come onto Intera Field. Weather tonight is brought to us by KZ Recreational Vehicles. You could not ask for a better October evening. 76 degrees, Old Glory being kept starched by a southerly zephyr at 14 miles an hour. Not a chance we see any rain here in Middlebury tonight in the heart of the Crystal Valley. And that's going to do it for the pregame show, brought to you by Stutzman Power Equipment. As you look at those Concord players out over on the other side, Minutemen coming in with a record of 4-2, Bob. Northridge is 5-1.
And the two teams are ready to do battle, and as they line up there, it's time for a check on the uniforms for tonight's game, brought to you by St. Andrews Products. Well, first of all, for the visitors, the Concord Minutemen, they're wearing kind of an off-white jersey with some green trim and letters. They're white pants, and they've got green helmets with a silver logo on the side of the helmet. And for the home team, the Northridge Raiders, they've got the gray jerseys with green and gold. They've got white pants with a green and gold stripe, and they're wearing black helmets with kind of a gold or yellow logo on the side. These teams look great tonight. And St. Andrews Product can do the same for your team. Reach them at sales at standrewscorp.com.
Concord won the toss and deferred. Northridge will receive, and Concord will kick off with that southerly breeze at the back as the Raider band entertains the crowd from the socially distanced end of the track. As we continue to adapt to COVID-19 here in the area, of course, it wiped out a big game tonight over at Rice Field between Marion and Elkhart, but we're glad we could bring you this one tonight from Intera Field.
And, of course, next week we're looking forward to Marion and St. Joe here at TV 46, so we'll hope that the Marionites are rebounded and ready to play next week. But right now we've got a dandy. We've got two teams. As we said before, they have a lot of respect for each other. and they will get physical, and they almost will applaud the other team when they make a good hit. That's how much they like each other, and they're neighbors, and they're going to go at it tonight. And I tell you what, it's great to be here for a big Northern Lakes Conference clash. Winner tonight still in the race, and to call the action tonight, our play-by-play announcer is our sports director at Family Broadcasting Corporation, Chuck Freeby.
KZ Recreational Vehicles sponsors our first quarter. Our officials tonight headed up by Terry Leake in the white hat. He's joined by Gregory Branda, Randall Groves, Russell Schutz, and Charles Thomas. Yordi Amaya will do the kicking for Concord. You see Brecken Judd, the deep man, along with Justin Puckett for Northridge. Amaya, 5'7", 165-pound senior, will put the ball on the tee. And we're just about ready for football on a gorgeous autumn night in northern Indiana. Glad you could join us on TV 46. Toe meets leather, and we're underway. Puckett watches it go over his head and collects it at the 5. And Puckett surges through a pretty nice hole and gets all the way up to the 27-yard line. So Northridge with good field position for its opening drive, and Logan Hooley at the reins at quarterback. You were impressed with him this week at practice.
Really was. Again, not a great size, but he's got a good, strong arm, very accurate, and they've got some guys that love to run that quick post pattern. And if he catches you in stride and you don't make the hit, you could be giving up 6.
Hooley, the 5'8", 140-pound senior. I was teasing Tom Wogeman at practice this year. I said, sure, there's Division I offers just pouring in for a 5'8", 140-pound quarterback. He goes, I don't care. He's our guy, and he does very well. Dom Crowder to his right, Justin Puckett to his left in the backfield. And it's Crowder taking the handoff and getting met 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage by the Concord defense. They were ready for him. Let's meet the Northridge offense tonight. And you'll see not only is Hooley and Crowder in there, but Justin Puckett, the receiving core. Brecken Judd leads that group with 8 receptions this year. An experienced front line led by the 3-year starter, Ibrahim Kaucha. So it's a 4-yard loss on the play, 2nd and 14. Hooley will operate from the pistol. Hooley wants to throw, steps up, and he's got his man. That's Barrett Reshley with the catch, but he only gets up to the 31-yard line. Pickup of 8 on the play as we meet the Minuteman defense, sponsored by your Edward Jones Elkhart Advisors. That front line, a very physical group with 3 returning starters. Jindarian Greer having a great year. Zavin Koltukian and his brother Armin helping man those linebacker spots in the secondary. Gabe Payton gets the start tonight in place of Will Odiambo at safety. 3rd and 7 now for the Raiders, and a flag thrown before the play can even get underway.
Well, I think the officials are concerned they didn't get much of that food tonight from Ruli's. Ruli's of Middlebury is proud to support Northridge Athletics. Ruli's is a family dining Italian-American restaurant offering a full menu including pastas, entrees, and pizza. Visit them at rulispizza.com or at either one of their 2 locations in Middlebury across from the high school or in Elkhart on County Road 17. A big thank you to Ruli's for feeding our TV crew tonight. They say go Northridge Raiders.
That was a sideline warning on Concord. No penalty and nowhere for Logan Hooley to run because Zavin Koltukian gets him well behind the line of scrimmage back at the 26-yard line. Great read that time by Koltukian. He forces 4th down in a punting situation for the Raiders.
Well, they got behind the stakes early and they're staying there. You're going to have to give up the ball. 4th down 11.
Now the down marker on the other side says 3, but you're right, it's 4th down. And they finally change it. Logan Hooley making sure he knows what down it is, unlike a certain Tampa Bay quarterback last night.
Ooh.
Hooley is also the punter on this team, and he'll line up in punt formation here. He averages 36 yards a kick, but this boot goes out of bounds right around the midfield stripe. We'll see where they finally spot it. And the official marks it, well, he marks it, hasn't spotted it yet officially, at the 47-yard line. So Hooley's kick goes 27 yards with no return, and Concord takes over on offense with Hunter Dutton at the quarterback slot. Ethan Kane was a 3-year starter for Concord. He is now at Indiana State. Dutton inherits the job, and he's getting better every week.
He really is, and he's so steady, and that's what he needs to be more than anything else. And again, they've got to really cut down on the turnovers.
Dutton with time, throws in the flat, has Jack D'Arcy. Great move by D'Arcy, and look at him turn on the Jets out of bounds at the 39-yard line. That's a first down sponsored by Aegis Dental Group as we meet the Concord offense, brought to you by your Edward Jones Elkert Advisors. Titus Hackworth, the leading ball carrier on this team. D'Arcy and Amarian Moore make a formidable receiving tandem. And along that front line, they've got big Griffin Swart out in there, the three-sport athlete. He's a returning starter, and so is Carbon Hartpence. 1st and 10, and another flag comes in. They're talking to the center, Swart out, as though he may have moved the ball when he went up to snap it.
Again, would probably be a warning.
So it is a mouth guard infraction against Concord, and that's a 5-yard penalty. First time we've seen one of those this year.
It sure is, and you know, they told us that they had to cut down on the penalty yardage, and so does Northridge tonight.
1st and 15 for Hunter Dutton, who steps up in the pocket. He's going deep for Amarian Moore, and he just overthrew him. It was there, it was open, but Dutton couldn't connect.
Kind of a license to take a shot there.
Well, Dutton had a full 2 steps on Brecken Judd that time. Or excuse me, Moore did, but Dutton overthrew him. 2nd and 15 for Concord. From the Raider 44. Empty backfield for Dutton. And again, flags thrown as we get underway. Have to think that's a false start on Concord. Like the old comic strip Pogo, the Minutemen have met the enemy, and it is them.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, Chuck, the other possession by Northridge bogged down because of negative yardage plays. But if you give yourself a 5-yard penalty, you don't have to make tackles.
Well, the officials were generous. They only gave him a 4-yarder. Yeah. Scoreboard says 2nd and 20, but it's really closer to 2nd and 19 where they've got it spotted.
Yeah. Just inside of midfield, about the 48.
Hunter Dutton threw for 266 yards in Concord's win over Goshen this year. Sends a man in motion, but Dutton's going to hand it off. Titus Hackworth struggling to get through the line, made it up to about the 45-yard line, and that's about it. And that gives us a chance to meet the Northridge defense tonight. The Raiders along the front line have Ibrahim Coucha filling in for the injured Carter Bach. Andrew Lockwood, one of the captains. Linebacking core has Peyton Shook in for the injured Micah Hostetler. And then in the secondary, keep an eye on Mason Puckett, the 5'8 senior. 3rd and 16. And illegal motion's going to be called here on Concord. Brendan Stockman was in motion, and he cut up the field about a second before the snap.
Yep. That's only 4 penalties in the first 4 minutes.
Craig Kaler with a look of agony on his face on the far sidelines because he knows why that one was called.
15 yards on 3 calls.
3rd and 21.
It's the best possession Northridge has had so far tonight.
2 receivers to each side of Hunter Dutton. Dutton steps out of the grasp of one tackler, scrambles right, eyes upfield, chucks it down. There's got a man. First down, Jack D'Arcy. How did he get so open? Oh, it's not D'Arcy. That's Anthony Mensah, and Mensah makes his 5th catch of the season, and it's a first down sponsored by Aegis Dental Group. All the way down to the 19, a pickup of 31 on this one for the Minutemen, and Dutton did a great job of scrambling.
Dutton 2 out of 3 now, 45 yards already in the ballgame.
Dutton again with lots of time, looking downfield, chucks it towards the end zone, and it is incomplete. Broken up beautifully down there by the Northridge Raiders.
Good defense right there, and he was trying to get it to Mensah again. I think they're giving a lot of coverage to Darcy, as you would expect, but Mensa had another good look right there.
Looked like Cam Waters got in there to help break it up, the 5'8" senior cornerback. And it's 2nd and 10. Dutton hands it off to Hackworth. Again, a little stop and go move, and Hackworth lucky to pick up a couple of yards that time, as he's brought down by Peyton Shook, who's getting the start tonight at linebacker for the injured Micah Hostetler. Hostetler dislocating his ankle in the win over Goshen last week.
I want you to know he'll be ready for basketball, but I don't know. That's a heck of an injury. We wish him all the best.
3rd and 9. Minutemen probably right on the cusp of field goal territory here. Hackworth in motion. Dutton looking, throwing towards the end zone, broken up again. Boy, the Northridge secondary with 2 terrific plays here on this sequence. Zach Howie, the outside linebacker, ran step for step with the receiver and was able to break it up. They were trying to get it to Stockman.
Tell you what, Chuck, that was really good preparation, because you know they were looking at the routes and what they like to run, and good defense there.
Yordi Amaya, 2 out of 4 on field goals. His long this year is 30. This would be a 35-yarder out of the hold of Jack DRC. The wind is at his back. The snap is good. The kick is up, but it is short. And the Northridge defense is held. 7:20 to go. First quarter. Concord and Northridge still scoreless on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week brought to you in part by Intera Credit Union. We get it because we live here too. Northridge was not able to do much on its first offensive possession, but we'll see what Logan Hooley and company can do here in a 0-0 game. 7:20 left first quarter.
3 minutes and 20 seconds on that possession.
It's Dom Crowder up the middle, and look at the big fella run! Crowder with one man to beat. Amarian Moore will chase him down at the 5. 75 yards, no flags. Boy, did he have a canyon to run through. Aegis Dental Group shows you the replay. What a kick out block by Julian Caudle to spring Crowder.
Boy, he was a yard away from maybe getting in there. Now he needs a breath, but you know what? They'll probably give him the ball again.
1st and goal. They'll spot it at the 5-yard line. Again, Crowder and Puckett in the backfield. It's Crowder taking the handoff from Hooley and getting nowhere. That was pretty well shut down by that Concord defense. Grayson Mast came in and made the hit on Crowder.
That'll ruin your rushing average, too, on the part of the night. They started off with -3. And he got himself up to 72 and staying right there.
Crowder had 2 touchdowns last week in the win over Goshen. 2nd and goal from the 6. Concord showing blitz. Crowder, right side, staggers through to the 3. Tripped up nicely that time by Armin Koltukian, the sophomore linebacker, making his 38th tackle of the year.
Koltukian is a specimen. He's listed on the roster as also a halfback. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't touch the ball once or twice, especially in a goal line situation. He's just a junior.
Well, and Armin, who made the tackle, was sophomore, so they'll be around. 3rd and goal. Hooley wants to run to his left, pitches to Crowder. That's a Northridge touchdown. Dominic Crowder punches it in for his 8th TD of the year, and the Raiders strike first. We'll see if this is technically a pass. Nope, that's a running play.
Yep. Boy, he had to head his team up, too.
Yeah, Amarian Moore going head-to-head with Dom Crowder. That's a mismatch.
Yeah.
Carter Soltzwis on to try the extra point. And it is up and it is good. And 5:24 remains here in the first quarter. Middlebury Community Schools sponsored the first down on that 75-yard run by Crowder. And they won't mind if we take one more look at the Crowder touchdown from Aegis Dental Group, because Dominic having himself a really good night so far.
Again, look at the patience by Hooley to wait till the leverage was there, and then he got it to him and he took it in. Folks, Middlebury Community Schools, a top-achieving school district inspiring students to change the world. Middlebury Community Schools, where achievement and innovation are hallmarks of a great education.
Our thanks to our friends at Reshcore for sponsoring our Facebook live stream tonight. We hope the signal holds up. We're not exactly in a high cell phone territory out here, but so far so good from our understanding.
Well, we've had a fantastic start. Concord had real good field position with their first possession and weren't able to capitalize. Had a missed field goal. Back and forth we go. And expect that we're going to have this all night, Chuck.
7-0 Northridge on top. And Carter Soltzwis will do the kicking. You'll meet him at halftime, one of our TCU Student Athletes of the Week. Of course, we first saw Carter last year during basketball season, had that big game against Warsaw. Also a member of the Northridge boys soccer team, which had their season come to an end Wednesday night.
Busy young man.
So Soltzwis sends this one rocketing into the end zone for the touchback. Tom Wagaman told us this week that is not a luxury that he's enjoyed a whole lot during his coaching career, and what a difference it makes when you know the other team's going to start every time back at the 20.
Well, you know, when you're a soccer player, you build up that leg and that ability, and that thing just, as soon as he hit it, looked like a 7-iron.
Maybe for you.
Hey.
1st and 10 from the 20. Concord got down last week to Eastside by 14 and came back and won, but that's not the game plan that they want to use here. Hunter Dutton hands it off to Titus Hackworth. Gets a good block on the outside, but nice pursuit by the Raiders that time, and they close the door on Hunter Dutton. And leading the charge that time was Ridge Howard, the backup linebacker. Howard and Shook rotating at that linebacker position tonight.
No huddle offense, which is common for Concord.
2nd and 9. Wide splits for the Minutemen, but they cover up nicely. And the pass out in the flat to Jack DeArce. DeArce hauled down at the 25-yard line. Again, wonderful pursuit. Taylor Tidwell, the safety, comes up and makes the hit on DeArce, who makes his 2nd catch of the night and his 38th of the year.
Picked up about 4 yards on the play.
DeArce had a big role in that comeback against Eastside last week. He had 10 receptions last week for 127 yards and caught the game-winning touchdown pass. On 3rd and 5, Dutton looks to throw, lobbing it down the field too far for Amarian Moore. The deep route's been there twice, but they haven't been able to connect.
A nice look again. He had plenty of protection back there. 2 out of 6 now to start the ball game. I'm sorry, 3 out of 7.
So 4th and 5 and punting time. Grayson Mast comes on to do the kicking here for Concord. Northridge not putting anybody deep.
Now they are sneaking somebody back there, but you can't make a mistake if you're not back there.
And the snap is dropped. Mast is able to hang a high kick here. Mason Puckett will try to make the fair catch, and a flag is thrown because contact is made by the Minutemen.
What a great kick under those situations for the Concord Minutemen.
Play fraught with disaster for the Minutemen. It sure could have been worse, but as it is, Northridge will have excellent field position after Concord ran into the man trying to make the fair catch.
Boy, that ball was up there for a long time. The oncoming Concord Minutemen got down there. I don't think they thought that they were going to be in position where the ball was going to come down, but there you see the contact.
Well, the fact of the matter is Puckett was lined up a little bit to the left of the ball. The player, Griffin Swartout, tried to stay out of his way, but when Puckett came back to his right to try to catch it, Swartout had nowhere to go. You'll get another look here from Aegis Dental Group.
Yeah, while we look at it, we'll tell you that Soltzwis Power Equipment, where you can get the tools and equipment for all your outdoor needs, specializing in Kubota, Steel, Toro, and Skag. Check them out online at SoltzwinPower.com. Soltzwis Power Equipment, where service is their #1 product. Proud to support high school athletics.
So a 10-yard penalty on Concord spots the ball at the Minutemen 45. Northridge already up 7-0 after scoring a touchdown on its second possession of the night. Movement along the line of scrimmage, and do we have another Concord penalty? It was Northridge that had the penalty problems coming in, but Concord has been flying the flag tonight. And the 5-yard mark-off makes it 1st and 5 from the 40. Is that 5 penalties now on Concord?
It is 5. Nice way to start a drive, 1st and 5.
Logan Hooley, sectional champion wrestler, out there at quarterback. Hooley bobbled the snap, then managed to somehow get it to Dom Crowder, who bowls forward for 3 yards. And you see that big cast on the right hand of Crowder. Bo Hunt, I want to come to you for a Bills Heating sideline report. You've seen the cast on Crowder's hand. How difficult does that make it for a ball carrier to tilt the rock?
It's extremely difficult. One of the biggest things is you're not allowed to switch hands because there's no way he can even hold on the ball, so he's got to carry it in his left hand the whole time. And trying to push off and everything from other guys, it's difficult in that situation as well. And they added weight, trying to carry that. It's just kind of awkward thing to have. You're not used to running with that, but so far so good for Crowder.
2nd and 2. Hooley pitches to Crowder, who catches it with the left hand, goes down the sideline and punishes the tackler as he goes out of bounds for a 1st down, sponsored by Middlebury Community Schools. Crowder steps out at the 26, a pickup of 11. That is a 230-pound running back, folks, and Craig Kaler talked about the way Northridge can run downhill. He just ran right over Gabe Mayo.
88 yards here in the 1st quarter for Crowder. Still 3 minutes to go.
Two receivers to the bottom of your screen. Concord coming on a blitz. They give it to Crowder, and Crowder runs into the teeth of the Concord defensive line. Gabe Mayo in there on the stop that time, along with help from Anthony Ernest, the senior defensive tackle.
Northridge might want to change up that cadence once in a while. There's a couple of guys cheating on the ends for Concord. They made pretty good penetration, kind of went by the ball carrier a little bit, but change up that cadence, you might get a, well, let's see, another penalty.
Crowder comes out. Brett Woolsey comes in. He'll be at the top of your screen. Let's see if Northridge tries to go to the air here. Woolsey had a pretty good day catching the football in practice on Tuesday. Hooley going to flip it out behind him, and the catch is made by Andrew Lockwood. That's a running play up to the 19-yard line. So Lockwood, the senior captain, getting his 1st carry of the night. And another wrestler on this team comes up with a nice pickup of 5 right here. You get another look from Aegis Dental Group. Zavin Koltukian nearly able to disrupt that play. Jack D'Arcy in on the tackle. It's 3rd and 3.
Pretty good leverage again when that pitch came.
4-down territory here for the Raiders. And there's more movement along the line of scrimmage.
I don't know if he changed up the cadence, but he did something. And again, Northridge or Concord been kind of anticipating the snap count.
The only question there was, in changing up the cadence, did Northridge jump before Concord did? And the answer is yes.
Ah.
So a 5-yard penalty changes the tenor of the entire possession now. It's 3rd and 8 back at the 24-yard line.
I think these teams might have watched the Bears last night for a while in that first half.
And the center picked up the ball when Hooley yelled, and that's one of the reasons the Concord players jumped. So Hooley wants to throw, tucks it under right away, tries to go up the middle, and Concord was prepared for that. They had seen that a lot from Hooley on tape. Wyatt Stringer makes the stop at the 19-yard line. 4th and 3, and Craig Kaler's going to send the kicking unit out and see if Carter Soltzwis can boot a field goal here. Well, Soltzwis definitely showed his leg on that kickoff a little bit ago, and this would be a 36-yard field goal attempt. Left-footed kicker. The snap is clean, the kick is up, it is on its way, and it is good. 57.3 seconds left first quarter. We saw Carter Soltzwis hit a lot of threes on the basketball court. He kicks one through right here.
Plenty of height, plenty of distance. Concord got to feel kind of fortunate only being down 10-0. They've made some mistakes. They've helped Northridge a little bit, and the Raiders really don't need but too much help.
Hooley with a solid hold on that one. And Soltzwis continues to dazzle with the leg, putting Northridge up by a count of 10-0.
3 minutes and 13 seconds. They would 45 yards on the drive. Did that in 6 plays.
Reminder, our first quarter tonight being brought to you by KZ Recreational Vehicles. The smell of burning leaves wafting through the air here in Middlebury on this October evening.
Getting to be that time of year, you just look around and appreciate all the beauty here in northern Indiana at this time of year.
The wind has died down dramatically since the start of the game. You see the ribbons at the top of the goalpost moving a little bit, but the flag nearly limp down at the north end of the field as Soltzwis drills this one to the goal line, and it'll be returned by Amarian Moore. And Moore has room to run, but there's a flag on the play, which should not surprise anybody. The flag thrown at about the 27-yard line, and it would appear to be some sort of blocking violation against Concord.
Folks, wouldn't it be great to work for a company where their employees are the most valuable asset? Well, now's your chance, because ReshCorps is hiring. They have production positions available in a team-driven environment with excellent benefits that include medical, dental, and 401k. Working for this steadily growing company isn't just a job, it's a career. Learn more about joining the ReshCorps family. Visit RESCHCOR.com. That's ReshCorps.com.
So another penalty against the Minutemen marches them back to the 17-yard line. And that'll make it 1st and 10 from there for Concord. Here's the handoff to Titus Hackworth, and he stumbles forward for a couple of yards. Second and 8 for Concord. And sometimes the problem with the no-huddle offense, if you're not getting first downs, you don't give that defense very much rest.
You sure don't.
Here's the snap to Dutton. Running out of time, in trouble, throws it, and he's lucky that wasn't a pick six. That ball just sailed up there in the air. As it was, I'm not sure who the intended receiver was, but there's no flag for grounding, so it'll be 3rd and 8. Big hit that time by the on-rushing lineman, Trent Jensen. So it's 3rd and 8.
Dutton has had time back there, but he seems to wait just a little long. He might be looking for an intermediate route here, 8 yards.
Handoff, Hackworth, nowhere to run. Smothered under by a punishing group of Raiders, including Andrew Lockwood. the Northridge defense as advertised in the first quarter, and the Northridge offense got the job done too. Dominic Crowder set it up with a 75-yard run and then took it in for 6. 10-0 Raiders after one on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you in part by Bill's Heating, keeping families and businesses comfortable since 1951. And as always, at the end of a quarter, we go downstairs for a Bill's Heating sideline report. Bo Hunt all over this field tonight. It's like he was playing running back again. We finally caught up with him. Your thoughts on the first quarter?
Oh, what a great first quarter, especially for Northridge. I mean, they just did a great job of really ball possession and stopping Concord after that first drive. Concord was able to come down, miss the field goal, but since then, Northridge has really been able to control that line of scrimmage, especially on the defensive side. They put the pressure on the quarterback, and the running game is nowhere to be found at this point, guys.
And that was a concern of Craig Kaler coming in, the lack of a running game this year for Concord.
Well, the total offense in the first quarter, 57 yards for Concord, 102 for Northridge. And keep in mind, the field goal came on a short possession. They got the ball at the 45-yard line of Concord, and those penalties, big factor in that first quarter.
Second quarter brought to us by our friends at KZ Recreational Vehicles. Grayson Mast is the punter for Concord. This time he handles the snap cleanly and hangs one high in the Indiana Knights. It'll hit at midfield and take a little bit of a Minuteman roll down to the Raider 46. So a 38-yard punt with no return. And it'll be 1st and 10 again with outstanding field position for Northridge. Really, Bob, in that first quarter, and I know you keep the stats, but you really don't need to look at the stats to know that offensively, defensively, and even special teams, the Raiders dominated in every facet.
Boy, they really have. But when you add up those things at the end of a game, you look back and say, well, what do we gain here? What do we gain there? You know, they had one kickoff return so far tonight for Concord, and they ran it out and got a penalty. So it took it back to the 10. So the special teams yardage has been significant, and I'm really impressed with Carter Soltzwis. He's got a powerful leg.
Nice crowd here in Middlebury tonight. So they're operating at about 50% capacity these days. 1st and 10 from the 46. Ball dropped in the backfield. Hooley got back down on it, and then everybody gets down on Hooley as Anthony Mensah leads the brigade of Concord defenders. Loss of 2 on the play could have been worse for the Raiders.
Sure could have been. And you think Concord is looking for an opportunity maybe to get a spark, and a turnover would have certainly done that for them right there.
Well, and turnover margin has been a problem for the Concord Minutemen this year. So 2nd and 12 from the 44-yard line. And we have a timeout called by Northridge. It's sponsored by TK Steel.
Well, at least it wasn't the penalty, partner. The flags are getting worn out here tonight. Folks, KZ Recreational Vehicles is proud to support high school athletics. We're expanding, and that means we're hiring. So come in to your hometown employer. That's KZRV. They'd love to see you.
Ancilla College sponsors our Info You Should Know, and one of the things you should know is that the Concord Minutemen have been way too charitable this year. They have a -8 turnover margin this season. That includes a -3 mark against Eastside last night. And Craig Kaler was very blunt about it before the game. If we're -3 again this week, we're getting blown out.
Yeah, he was really surprised that they're 4-2 with all those turnovers, but the penalties have been a problem here tonight so far. Folks, for over 60 years, industry has relied on the great team at Imagineering Finishing Technologies. IFT is the industry knowledge source for metal finishing solutions. The medical, automotive, and defense and aerospace challenges have built our legacy. Reach us at IFTworldwide.com. At IFT, we'll work till you're finished correctly.
It is 2nd and 12. And the handoff up the middle. Dominic Crowder runs into a host of white jerseys that time. Looks like Anthony Ernest was in there on the stop with help from Jendarian Greer. Very physical defensive line for this Concord team. When you look at their stats, Bob, high number of tackles for both defensive tackles. You don't always see that.
You sure don't. And usually it's the linebackers in the secondary. They're coming up to support, but they're doing a nice job in that front line for Concord.
Ridge looking at a 3rd and 9 here. Early stages of quarter number 2. 3 receivers to the top of your screen, and Hooley looking that way. Now swarmed under by the pass rush, and down he goes. Adrian Martinez comes in and gets the sack with help from Jendarian Greer, and the Concord defense bows its neck a little bit and forces Northridge into a kicking situation here. There were white jerseys all around Hooley that time.
Hooley's got 4 carries for minus 10 yards, including that sack. Boy, when that line from Concord got the push going, they pushed the offensive lineman right back into the quarterback.
So remember, Hooley does the punting as well. He averages 36 yards a kick. Line of scrimmage is the 39, and this one's a beauty. Darcy all the way back at the 12. 49-yard punt, and Jack D'Arcy gets nothing on the return. What a job by Logan Hooley, and the special teams do it again for Northridge.
Man, that ball was up there for a long time again.
So Concord will have to start in jail back at the 13-yard line.
Yeah, Concord has started at their own 47. They started at their own 20. They started at their own 10, and now back to the 13-yard line.
Well, we'll see. Hunter Dutton has had a couple of deep balls open, hasn't been able to connect on them yet. He could get Concord back in the game in a hurry here if he could connect on one. He's going to roll out and throw towards the sideline. There's nobody there. And there's the flag for intentional grounding. And I'll tell you what, if he threw that from the end zone, that would be a safety. He didn't get the ball back to the line of scrimmage. There was no receiver out that way. And let's take another look from Aegis Dental Group here. His feet are not in the end zone when he throws the ball, but that's intentional grounding, and it was done just outside the goal line. I don't think that's a spot infraction. I could be wrong.
Well, here's the good news. The ball was at the 13, and so you can't give him a 15-yard or 10-yard penalty. You go half the distance, so it's only going to cost him 7.
Still, that's a loss of down penalty, I believe, and it should be 2nd down. Yes, that's a loss of down penalty. 2nd down from back at the 6-yard line, 2nd and 17.
32 yards in penalties for Concord.
Offensive line's got to be able to give Dutton some time to throw here. Now Dutton looking from his own end zone, and again in trouble. He throws, and that's going to be a safety. No, there's the flag. It was Trent Jensen coming in that time on Dutton in the end zone. And Dutton, running for his life, just chucked it away. We'll wait for the signal here from Terry Leak. And it's a safety for the Northridge Raiders.
You had it exactly right, partner, and really Dutton had nowhere to go. Look at the rush on him. You got to throw it sooner, but again, there's nobody out there.
If he turns and throws it back to Titus Hackworth, at least that's an eligible receiver. Throw it over his head and you got a shot. But throwing it to the sideline, a first-year quarterback mistake, and it cost the Minutemen 2 points. It's 12-0.
And it still could be worse.
Craig Kaler, the 6th-year Concord coach, looking on as you look at that great video board down at the south end here of Intera Field. And it tells a great story for the home team tonight.
11 seconds on that possession, by the way. That's just really, you know, Chuck, one of the things that occurs to you right away in this game tonight, Dom Crowder had a 175-yard run, and then you look at what Concord is able to do, and Dutton hasn't been able to throw the ball or get out of trouble. And, you know, Hackworth has had some good efforts. both teams going to need a hero. They're going to need somebody to step up and be part of this offense. And Crowder can't do it all, and neither can Dutton and Hackworth. They need somebody else.
Yordi Amaya on to do the free kick here for the Concord Minutemen. It has been a trip on the struggle bus tonight for Concord. Amaya's spinning kick is taken at the 48-yard line by Northridge, already into Concord territory up to the 41. Justin Puckett on the return, and Northridge will have excellent field position once again. The Raiders ranked number 8 this week in the coaches poll, number 10 in the AP poll. And they look like they could be a formidable force in this 4A tournament.
Well, Concord Minutemen with a test again, but boy, they came up big with a defensive stop in the last series, including a 7-yard sack. Fun to watch both these coaches, experienced coaches, make adjustments as they go along here.
So let's see if Northridge tries to get it back in the hands of Dom Crowder here. He's had a big night running the football. And indeed, that's who. Nope, Hooley on play action, throws, man wide open, has him down at the 24 and takes it to the 21. A 20-yard pickup by Justin Puckett coming out of the backfield. They ran the wheel route in play action, and Puckett with just his second catch of the season. So 1st and 10 at the 22-yard line for Northridge, who has everything going its way tonight in Middlebury. Hooley moves Crowder over to his right. It's Hooley keeping it himself off the right side, gets to the 16-yard line, and a flag comes in on the play.
Not sure everybody got a hold of his face mask or what exactly that was.
Well, Terry Leake's going to tell us here in just a moment, we hope. And it's a holding call on Northridge. Well, that has kind of been the saga for Tom Wogeman's Raiders this year, as Ancilla College gives us info you should know. In 6 games this year, the Raiders have been whistled for 59 penalties. Let me do the math for you on that. That's about 10 a game.
That's a lot. That is a bunch.
That one stopping a nice gain and forcing Northridge into a 1st and 17.
Another chance for Concord to come up with a big stop here.
Raiders flexing 2 receivers off to the left of Hooley. Hooley looking that way, throws, has Clint Walker, the big fella, takes it all the way down inside the 10. Look at how many bodies it took to get the 6'2", 210-pound junior down. First down sponsored by the Middlebury Community Schools. You get another look. Hooley ran the slant to Walker, and once that big fella gets moving, it looked like Gulliver and the Lilliputians.
22-yard carry after the 22-yard completion, and about 15 of it after the catch.
They went to Walker 3 times in the win over Goshen last week. First time he's been targeted tonight. 1st and goal from the 9. Puckett tries to weave his way up the middle, and the 5'6", 136-pound senior gets up to the 5-yard line. Justin Puckett, an all-NLC and sectional championship wrestler last year, went 36-5 on the mats. Tell you what, if a team fracas breaks out, Northridge has a bunch of wrestlers out there. You better look out.
Take you down, get a couple of points.
2nd and goal from the 5. Hooley keeps it himself. Bobbing, weaving. Can't get even and leaving, though. He stopped at the 2. Logan Hooley, very shifty back there. We did the profile of him yesterday on our 46 Sports Twitter page. His own coach calls him greasy, and he doesn't mean Bob or Brian.
No.
And the other coach just said he's a problem.
A lot of respect for him and what he can do.
3rd and goal from the 2. And a timeout will be used here by Northridge. It's sponsored by TK Steel. 6:24 to go first half. Raiders trying to add to a 12-0 lead on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week brought to you in part by Aegis Dental Group, trusted dentistry. Concord huddled around head coach Craig Kaler, who at one time was the defensive coordinator for Tim Dawson when Tim was in charge of this Minutemen program. And Craig trying to come up with a way to thwart Northridge here. If you force a field goal, it's still a 2-touchdown game.
Folks, KZ Recreational Vehicles proud to support high school athletics. We're expanding, and that means we're hiring. So come join your hometown employer at KZRV.
Craig Kaler, also once the baseball head coach at Concord High School, was marveling at the facilities here at Northridge tonight. The baseball field and the softball field just off to the north of this football complex. 3rd and goal from the 2. Hooley gives it to Crowder. Crowder bashes over people for the touchdown. Don Crowder's 2nd touchdown of the night puts Northridge up 18-0.
Good time out there for Northridge.
Don't have to worry about a broken thumb much when you're 230 pounds down by the end zone. Crowder just bounced off people like a pinball.
I asked him the other day, we were out here for practice check. I said, how's your thumb? He goes, well, I'm not worried about it. He said, I'm not hurt. Just got a bad thumb.
Carter Soltzwis with the extra point that's up and good. 6:20 to go first half. It's all Raiders right now. They lead it 19-0. Here's another look from Aegis Dental Group from down at ground level. Pretty good block that time. Coming forth for Northridge. Wasn't able to pick up the number, but it took out a couple of Concord players, and that helped clear the way for Crowder.
Crowder is not the fridge, but you get the idea when he gets in that short yardage situation. And right now, Concord needs a great return if they can get one, and they need to put together a drive. And again, it's 19-0, but if they can get on the board before halftime, that'll do a lot of good. Plus, it's a team that was down to the east side, 14-0 last time out, and they came back and won the game.
See a lot of pink in the crowd as it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the Northridge students doing some fundraisers to help with that cause. But really good crowd here, and you can understand why. This is just such a gorgeous facility to come to, and we'll talk with some of the folks at Interra Credit Union. Andy Marshall, their COO, will join us at halftime to talk about their sponsorship of this stadium.
Dom Crowder, by the way, with 93 yards rushing in the first half and 2 touchdowns.
That would be a good night. I wish you had a good first half. Stoltzfus' kick goes over the leaping Amari and Moore and into the end zone. And once again, the Minutemen have to start from their own 20.
Folks, at St. Andrews Products, your expectations become our standards. We have the finest promotional products, advertising specialties, business gifts, and apparel. Our team handles all embroidery and screen printing in-house. That guarantees you the quality you want and the timely turnaround you need to meet your needs. At St. Andrews Products, our answer is always yes. Now, what's the question?
Right now, the question for Concord is, can they move the football? They haven't had a first down in quite some time. They missed a field goal in the first quarter, and since that time, I don't think they've had one first down.
They have not.
Hunter Dutton at quarterback has been under pressure most of the night. Here he has time, and he's throwing deep. Amari and Moore makes the catch, and he is off to the races. They're not going to get him. That's an 80-yard Concord touchdown.
Well, that didn't take long.
Amari and Moore with his 4th touchdown grab of the year, the 8th touchdown pass for Hunter Dutton. And just like that, The Minutemen strike. We had talked about the connection on the deep ball. Twice Moore was open. Actually, that's the most contested he was on one of those deep balls. But once he broke the first tackle, you weren't going to catch that speedster.
That wasn't really a back shoulder pass, but same effect. The receiver saw the ball coming. The defender did not. He was able to position himself, made a nice catch, kept his balance, and off to the race. He was chasing that official down the field.
Yordi Amaya with the extra point that's up and good. 6:05 to go first half. The touchdown sponsored by R&B Car Company, and you'll get another look courtesy of our friends at Aegis Dental Group. You get it from ground level here, and Dutton aired out a beauty here.
Well, Chuck, recapping that drive, and 80 yards, one play, 15 seconds. Look at that official. Don't hit me.
Well, Amarian was ready to use the official as a screen if he needed to.
Right.
He would have ducked to the left side of him, made the player come through him.
And that would have been completely legal. Folks, the Element Masters in Middlebury is your authorized trained dealer serving all of Michiana. They install, maintain, and repair heating, cooling, and ventilation products, making your home a comfortable place for life to happen. They also offer 24/7 emergency services. The Element Masters, write this number down this time of year, 574-825-8824. Again, that number 574-825-8824.
Go down to Bo Hunt here for a Bills Heating sideline report after this kickoff by Yordi Amaya. Amaya, a 5'7" senior.
Well, you just feel like the Concord balloon was just reinflated a little bit.
And Amaya's spinning kick is taken at the 16-yard line. Northridge, Justin Puckett takes it up to the 33. But Bo, is there a player tonight? I mean, Amarian Moore was impressive on that touchdown reception, but who are some of the individuals you've seen tonight that have impressed you so far?
Well, I think Crowder is one of the biggest ones. I mean, you look at him and his size and his difficulty of even holding on to the ball, but the way he's able to run the ball even with that injury, I think is one of the biggest things tonight. And with Concord, I was just about ready to say, you know, if they were up 19-0 going into with 6 minutes to go, you know, would Northridge be able to come back? But with Northridge up 19-0, I mean, Concord can hit one play, explosive plays, and that's just what happened with them.
All right, thank you, Bo. Our sideline reports brought to us by Bills Heating. There's Crowder up the middle again. This time he gets stuffed. Wyatt Stringer, the defensive end, comes in and makes the stop. Stringer, 6'2", 235 pounds. That's not exactly the classic frame for a high jumper, but that's what he does for the track team at Concord.
Hey, Crowder ought to do that for Northridge.
He's another 235-pounder. Well, Crowder says, no, I'm a svelte 230.
That's right.
2nd and 8. The bearded Logan Hooley at quarterback. Hooley stops, throws, and has his man out in the flat. That's Brady Snyder with his 4th grab of the year. And Snyder takes it up to the 44-yard line. That's enough for a first down, sponsored by Middlebury Community Schools. Snyder, one of a bevy of receivers used on this Northridge team. Nobody has double-digit catches this year, but a lot of different people do have grabs.
Well, again, when you've got a receiver who can get to that yardage, you have so many different threats. It keeps the defense certainly honest, and then they've got to take their eyes off the big man in the backfield.
Well, they spread the defense here and give it to Brecken Judd. No, Hooley kept it. Squirts up the middle, and Hooley, very deceptive with the football, takes it up to the 49-yard line, a pickup of 5 for the Northridge quarterback.
Hooley trying to work his way out of negative yardage. He was sacked, and he had a couple of losses early.
Flag came in at the end of the play, and let's see if we can tell exactly what the infraction is here. It looks like Darian Greer got wrapped around the helmet of Hooley, and that's when the flag came in. That's a face mask penalty against Concord. 5-yard infraction will be a first down for Northridge, sponsored by the Middlebury Community Schools.
It's a different kind of penalty, but that is 37 yards in penalties in this first half.
But many of them have been at critical times for Concord. 1st and 10 from the Minuteman 46. Woolsey milking the clock a little bit right here. Gives it off to Crowder, who had a nice running start. Crowder carrying people across the 40 up to the 39-yard line. What are you going to do to haul down that big 230-pound guy?
He hasn't been able to do it so far, Chuck. That puts him at 100 yards on 11 carries tonight.
I saw him coming out of the locker room before the game to get something. He was just in his T-shirt and pants, and I thought, oh, there's one of the linemen. And then I got a closer look, and I said, oh, my gosh, that's Dom. 2nd and 4. Crowder moves to the right of Hooley. And a whistle thrown and a flag thrown. Let's see what happened here.
Got to be somebody from Northridge moving early.
Terry Leak getting plenty of face time tonight.
Doing a nice job, though, isn't he?
I can't say that any of the penalties have been long. They haven't been.
Nope.
There's just been a lot of them.
Gives us a chance to mention, as we love to do in every broadcast, that if you'd like to get involved with officiating, they can sure use the talent. And you can make a few bucks, but more importantly, it can help keep these kids playing games and give them a good effort on the field. And some of them guys stay in pretty good shape, too, Chuck.
2nd and 9 from the 45. Hooley pumps, going deep, has his man wide open. That's Brett Woolsey for a touchdown. We told you Woolsey had a really good day in practice when we came over Tuesday. And I'm sure Tom Wagaman thought, I got the hot hand right here, why not use it? 45-yard touchdown strike from Hooley to Woolsey, and he could not have been more wide open.
But when they throw the ball, he just went over 100 yards in passing. He got 102, 129 yards passing for Concord.
And guess what?
No.
We have another penalty.
Well, that's good. It gives us a chance to tell you about the folks at TK Steel. They proudly support the Northridge Raiders and wish them good luck in tonight's game. TK Steel would like to give a shout out to a special senior, number 15, Logan Hooley. Have a great year and keep up the great work from the team at TK Steel.
Well, that was timely.
Yeah, how about that?
Hooley has had a couple of 100-yard passing games this year. Here's Carter Soltzwis for an extra point that is up and good. 3 minutes left before halftime, and Northridge reestablishes that 19-point lead at 26-7. Take another look at the nice little pump fake by Hooley. The defender bit, and that left Woolsey wide open. The only question is, did he step out of bounds? But walking the tightrope, he did not.
Well, with 3 minutes left to go, the last drive for Concord took 15 seconds.
For Brett Woolsey, that is his first touchdown of the year. It may well be the first of his Northridge career. So Tom Wagaman's Raiders, who drew a very tough opponent in the first round of the sectional in Leo, but they are looking very formidable here tonight. It's a Northridge team that 2 weeks ago against Northwood could only muster 7 points. But tonight, it's a much different story for them offensively.
Outstanding first half passing football, too, for Hooley.
Carter Soltzwis will do the kicking. He has had 15 touchbacks on the season. He now has 16. As he sends that one into the corner of the end zone. Concord has 3 timeouts left. and 3 minutes here on the clock, so plenty of time to move it downfield.
Well, they've had a couple of good looks on the deep routes. I'm sure the Northridge Raiders are being made aware of that.
And with Concord not being able to get much going in the running game tonight, you wonder if Northridge will drop even more people into that secondary. Dutton steps up in the pocket, now decides to run. Dutton trying to get to the outside, slides and goes down at the 26-yard line. Pickup of 6 on the play. He had Taylor Tidwell closing in on him, and that's why he hit the dirt.
Not a bad idea. There's a reason they do that in the pros.
Trust me, if I were a quarterback, I'd be doing it all the time.
I'd be sliding. You'd think I was a baseball player.
2nd and 4. Dutton hands off to Titus Hackworth. Hackworth has himself a first down as he gets just past the 30-yard line to the 31. The first down sponsored by Aegis Dental Group.
Needed 4, got about 5.
That's one of the bigger runs for Concord tonight. Boy, did he have some people moving bodies out of the way as big Brendan Casey with that 6'4", 340-pound frame cleared a path. Now Dutton wants to throw on 1st and 10. He wants to go deep. Jack D'Arcy's out there. Jack D'Arcy trying to run away from people. Jack D'Arcy, touchdown, Concord. 69 yards, no flags.
You got to run that play again, don't you? "69 yards.
And take another look from field level. Patrick Kelly running the field camera, and Jack D'Arcy says, "Let me come see my alumni friend." A 69-yard touchdown strike from Dutton to D'Arcy, and Concord will not go away. Yordi Amaya on to try the extra point. The kick is up. It is good. Scorings for Concord is sponsored by R&B Car Company. 1:57 left before the break, and the Minutemen trail 26-14.
And the real challenge coming up at halftime, Chuck, is for you to be able to do all the highlights because there's been a bunch of them in this first half. Folks, KZ Recreational Vehicles is proud to support high school athletics, and they are expanding, and that means they're hiring. So come join your hometown employer. That's KZ RV.
Greg Kaler talking to the officials, saying, you know, you guys are throwing a lot of flags against us tonight.
Yes, they have. Folks, want to remind you that TCU understands the importance of growing your future, whether you're growing your family, your square footage, or your business. TCU is here for you with financial solutions that will help you succeed. Visit TCUnet.com to start growing your future today. Federally insured by the NCUA, they're an equal housing opportunity lender.
Tom Wagaman, I don't know if he's telling his team to hang loose or what, but in his 8th year at Northridge and has really changed the culture here. Of course, came over from Wawasee. He's a Goshen alum and a leukemia survivor. And a reminder to sign up for the bone marrow registry because folks like Tom Wagaman have benefited from that in his life. He had a bone marrow transplant that saved his life back in 1997. Yordi Amaya's kick will be fielded by Brecken Judd back at the 10. And Judd brings it back up to the 28-yard line before Armin Koltukian takes him down, along with help from Titus Hackworth.
Now, if you're Northridge, do you try to get down the field? You've still got minute 50.
One timeout left, and we'll see how Tom Wagaman decides to attack this here. The one thing he doesn't want is a turnover that gives Concord another shot at striking here before halftime.
You almost get the feeling that if Northridge were to settle for the score and go in at halftime, that Concord might feel like they've got a little momentum heading into the second half.
The one thing is, though, Northridge will get the ball to start the second. No, Concord gets the ball to start the second half. You're right.
So Concord needs a big stop here or a pick.
Hand off to Crowder. Crowder hangs on with the Minutemen trying to pull at that football with that broken thumb there, and Crowder was able to hang on to the rock and towed it for 2 yards.
103 yards and 12 carries in the first half. Northridge with 110 yards passing in the first half.
So Concord will take a timeout, trying to milk the clock here with 1:34 left before the break. And we remind you that next Friday night there's more high school football on TV 46. The plan right now, if everybody gets healthy, is to go on over to Atulski Field for what many call the Holy War as St. Joe takes on Marion. And it'll be Friday night 11, Saturday morning 9. We hope to have that one on YouTube, Facebook, and the Champions Network right around 6:50 Friday night.
Our thanks again to Ruley's in Middlebury, proud to support Northridge Athletics. Ruley's is a family dining Italian-American restaurant offering a full menu including pastas, entrees, and pizza. Boy, pizza was good tonight. Visit them at ruleyspizza.com or at either one of their 2 locations in Middlebury, right across from the high school, or at Elkhart on County Road 17. And a big thank you to the team at Ruley's for feeding our TV crew tonight. Did a great job, and they want to say, go Northridge Raiders.
So Northridge looking at a 2nd and 8 here from its own 30. Concord still with 2 timeouts remaining, so if the Raiders run the ball here and don't get much yardage, Craig Kaler may well use another one of those timeouts.
Nope.
2nd and 8. Crowder couldn't turn the corner as he tried to get to the outside, and Craig Kaler does use a 2nd timeout after the tackle by Zavin Koltukian.
It looked like Northridge moved a little early there.
Zavin Koltukian, a 3-sport athlete at Concord. Derek Deschone will tell you that that's his top scorer coming back next year for the basketball team. Also a pretty fair baseball player.
It's a real good athlete, Chuck. We had a chance to visit with him, and boy, really is accountable for himself and his conditioning and his hard work. And boy, you know, Craig Kaler just so proud of that young man, what he's done already. And he wishes mom and dad had about 6 more kids. But
well, we talked to Zavin this week about his younger brother, Armin, and how he's coming along. And he says it's very competitive between the 2 of them. Who has the better game at linebacker, but not in a negative sense. They're pushing each other, and it's rare that you hear an older brother talk about, my younger brother's buff.
Yeah.
And he admires the way that he's able to condition himself and be solid with his physique, and I think that pushes Zavin to do the things that he needs to do to stay in condition.
Well, can you imagine how the battle goes for that last pork chop at the Koltukian house?
So it's 3rd and 7 from the 31. Concord with 1 timeout remaining. Let's see if Tom Wagaman tries to throw for the first down here. Logan Hooley has had a good night throwing the football, over 100 yards passing in the first half. Hooley indeed will throw. Has time, steps up, has his man, Justin Puckett. Puckett, the little water bug across midfield, spun around at the 45-yard line for a first down sponsored by Middlebury Community Schools. Pickup of 24 on the play, and the big night for Hooley throwing the football continues. Puckett found a great seam, and then Amarian Moore swings him out of bounds at the 45.
Well, now you're in a position with still over a minute to go because of the timeouts from Concord, maybe to threaten. You got to get down to about the 25-yard line to be in field goal range.
Huge 3rd down conversion there for Northridge, and another flag.
This will be against Northridge. Look, the same thing I saw a couple plays ago. Somebody moving early, just rocking forward from that offensive line position. Gives us a chance to tell you that KZ Recreational Vehicles is proud to support high school athletics as they've done here tonight. They want you to know they're expanding, and that means they're hiring. Come and join your hometown employer. That's KZ RV.
So 1st and 15 back at the midfield stripe. Hooley threw for 104 yards in the win over Wawasee this season. And that was his season high throwing the football before tonight. He's well past that this evening and looking for more here. Throws back in the flat to Dominic Crowder. Crowder goes by one man, then Armin Koltukian brings him down at the 39-yard line. Pickup of 11 on the play. And I think Northridge is going to burn its last time out here. It's sponsored by TK Steel. 104 left in the half, huh?
We got a chance to watch Dom Crowder in practice, and we were both saying the same thing. You know, if he got the head of steam up, who in the world wants to get in front of that? But Concord secondary had the wherewithal to do it. But, boy, he is a load when he gets going.
So let's look at the Northern Lakes Conference standings, because Northridge still very much in this race, depending on what happens over at Andrews Field tonight between Warsaw and Northwood. Mishawaka also rooting for Northwood tonight, as the Cavemen taking on Wawasee. And Concord, well, they would need a lot of help, but in a certain extent they control their destiny from the standpoint, if they can come back and win here tonight and Northwood were to beat Warsaw, well, that's who Concord plays next week in the season finale. So they would still have an outside shot of winning the NLC, but it certainly is well within the grasp of Bart Curtis and the Tigers. They could clinch at least a share of the NLC title with a win at Northwood tonight.
Interesting perspective with the move of Mishawaka to the Northern Lakes Conference. People thought, well, you know, they're going to go in there and be able to steamroll people. You know what? Mishawaka is so respectful of the new conference they're in and glad to be there.
And Northwood, by the way, up 7 at the half, 14-7 on Warsaw. Here's Logan Hooley to throw on 2nd and 4, and Brecken Judd, did he go down and make the shoe top catch? He did for a first down, sponsored by Middlebury Community Schools at the 17. That's a 22-yard pickup from Hooley to Judd. For Judd, his 9th catch of the season, that leads the team. And now Terry Leak going to stop the clock. Did we have a flag come in at the end of the play? A sideline warning against Northridge. But let's check out the end of the catch here by Judd. And man, did he go down to the shoe tops, but kept the hands under it to make the grab.
Well thrown ball right in the middle of that two deep zone coverage.
Some of the Northridge fans getting antsy as the clock runs. Hooley throws, has his man down to the 2. Brecken Judd again. 1st and goal. First down sponsored by Middlebury Community Schools. A 14-yard strike from Hooley to Judd.
Boy, Hooley's having himself a first half, Chuck.
Hooley might just spike it here to stop the clock. Nope, he'll give it to Crowder. Crowder battering ram into the end zone. Touchdown. His 3rd of the night. What a drive for Northridge at the end of the first half. Craig Kaler gambled with 2 timeouts, hoping he could get the ball back, and it backfired.
3 touchdowns on the night now for Crowder. You know, Northwood's got to be looking at the scoreboard and saying, you know, we lost to them 7-0. What's going on?
Extra point by Carter Soltzwis is up and good. Northridge with 33 on the board tonight as Crowder gets his 3rd touchdown run of the evening.
Yeah, Chuck, you're exactly right. The drive started at 38, and you thought, well, you know, they might get to midfield and then take a knee, but they had time and they kept going.
Well, you can't blame Craig Kaler. The strategy made sense. Northridge was looking at a 3rd and 7 on that key conversion pass from Hooley to Puckett that kept the drive alive. And if you're wondering about the offensive output in a half, well, that's the most that the Raiders have had in a half this season.
Took 1 minute and 40 seconds. Get in for that touchdown. 72-yard drive.
And with Carter Soltzwis, the way he boots the ball, 3 touchbacks already tonight, you have to think that Concord will be looking at the ball from its own 20-yard line, but Amarian Moore back deep just in case. Soltzwis with a no-doubter. That one almost went past the back line of the end zone. So 33-14 with 18.5 seconds left. A reminder, coming up at halftime, Southwind Flooring sponsors our halftime report. Bob will introduce you to our TCU Student Athletes of the Week. We'll have halftime stats and highlights and a special feature from our friends at Intera Credit Union.
You know, partner, every once in a while a stat will jump off the sheet at you, and you want to wait till halftime to talk about it, but I got to talk about it right now. Woolsey has been unbelievable. He's 10 out of 10 passing tonight for 182 yards.
Wow. Here's Hunter Dutton thinking about going deep, now having to scramble, fires, and he's got his man up to the 32-yard line for a first down, sponsored by Aegis Dental Group. The catch made by Anthony Mensa, good for 12 yards. Gives Concord one last chance to go deep. They'll take a timeout to talk about it.
Got one of those left.
And actually, the way Concord runs its patterns, you don't necessarily have to go deep. If you can just hit the last guy out there, about 30 yards down the field, they'll get the rest after the catch.
Man, we've seen some passing in this first half, haven't we, partner?
And that was not what we expected to see from this Northridge team tonight. Bo Hunt, that they have had the reputation all season long of being a running team. I know this is our first time seeing Logan Hooley at quarterback. My goodness.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about, kind of some breakout people down here, and it was just kind of early in the game. But I tell you what, Logan Hooley, what a great job he's been doing all game, and really that second quarter answering all of Concord's touchdowns with his own perfect pass play in the passing game. I believe Bob said 10 for 10 for over 180 yards. Just a fantastic job there late in that second quarter.
Those reports sponsored by our friends at Bill's Heating. 1st and 10 from the 33. Dutton shucks it out to the right side. It's incomplete, and Concord will get one more chance here with 4.2 left.
He bailed and threw that one, but there was a receiver in the territory, so no grounding there.
So second down, but likely the last play here of the first half, unless Northridge were to draw a penalty.
By the way, as prolific as Northridge was passing the ball in the first half, Concord actually has more passing yardage. We'll run all those numbers down for you at the half.
Crowder coming on a blitz. He got picked up, but Dutton in trouble. Now stops, fires, and it is caught by Amarian Moore, but he's not going to make it to the end zone. And the first half will come to an end. 19-yard pass play from Dutton to Moore to end the half. And lots of scoring in the first half here in Middlebury. The Crystal Valley getting shattered by Dom Crowder. Northridge's defense had a safety. Concord a couple of big plays. 33-14 at the break. The Southwind Flooring halftime report is next on 46.
Welcome back to Intera Field, where we have a chance to talk to our Student Athletes of the Week, brought to you by TCU. TCU reminds you to go online at tcunet.com and find out how you can become a member today. We've got a couple of members with us today that have really gotten it done in the classroom as well as on the field. A couple of busy guys. We're going to talk to Griffin Swartout, first of all. He's from the other side of town. He's from Concord High School, but everybody's wearing green and white tonight, so everybody feels at home. But Griffin, talk about what you're involved with at Concord High School.
Yes, sir. So I'm a 3-sport athlete. Start the year with football, go into basketball, and then I play baseball in the spring, and then try and stay on top of my grades during the day.
What do you do with the other half hour? I mean, you're a busy guy. Talk about what it takes to get that done and to be disciplined about your time.
Yes, sir. So I have been instilled with some good priorities, keeping my education first, and with that, the athletics just come as a reward of that. So keeping my grades first has been a big deal for me and my family.
You're talking about maybe studying pre-med, and who knows, someday you might be the orthopedic surgeon or doing that kind of thing. What are your plans for college, and what interests you now as far as the college?
Yes, sir. So like you said, pre-med is what I'm looking at, and then I have a few colleges in mind, University of South Florida and Tampa, and then I applied to IU as well. And whatever works out for me is where I'll go, and cardiology is looking like my specialty that I'd like to go into.
Well, somebody might be looking for a long snapper too. They might keep you busy with that. Give a shout out to people on your team at home and at school.
Yes, sir. So my family, my friends, players, coaches, I'd like to give a shout out to them.
All righty. Well, good luck to you, and congratulations on your success.
Thank you.
All right, Griffin Swartout from Concord High School, and now joining us is Carter Soltzwis. He's from Northridge High School. And Carter, first of all, congratulations on being singled out for this award and all the hard work you're doing.
Thank you.
Now, you're involved in football, obviously, but also basketball, where you like to shoot the three-pointer, and you're a pretty good soccer player as well. As I said before, being that busy, you really have to have priorities.
Yeah, I mean, school always comes first before that. I've done a pretty good job throughout my 4 years here of getting stuff done on time, so I have time to work on my game and to be able to play the 3 sports.
And you wouldn't mind playing a little basketball at the next level?
Yeah, that's the goal. I've been looking at some colleges. We'll take a couple of visits here in the fall, and then we'll see what happens.
Well, that's great, and we think you can, because we've seen you play pretty good basketball here at Northridge as well. When you think about what you want to study in college, will that determine as well where you want to go?
Yeah, that will help. I think I'm leaning towards probably sports management and studying. So I think a school that has a good program for that'll tend to, I would say, I'll lean towards a school like that, because that's very important.
Now I want you to give a shout out to people that mattered in your life, and your brother better be in there.
Yeah, my brother, my family, my friends, and then Walkman for letting me come out and kick this year.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've done a great job. Congratulations and best wishes to you.
Thank you.
Carter Soltzwis from Northridge High School, and Griffin Swartout from Concord High School, our Student Athletes of the Week, brought to you by TCU. TCU reminds you to go online at tcunet.com and find out how you can become a member today. We're back with some halftime stats and highlights in just a moment. You're watching the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week.
This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you in part by the Indiana High School Athletic Association, partnering with TV 46 for 30 years. Halftime here at Intera Field in Middlebury. And the Southwind Flooring halftime report continues with the Raiders of Northridge leading Concord 33-14. Chuck and Bob high above the fray. Very entertaining first half.
Is that the final score?
Could be.
People tuning in are going to, wow, what happened? Because both teams came in. We thought it'd be a very low-scoring game in this one. But back and forth they go. Concord hit 2 big plays, an 80-yard touchdown pass and a 69-yard touchdown pass. So the stats are a little skewed. But the one thing that we did have in that first half was a lot of highlights.
And a lot of passing yards. Let's take a look and show you how it got to be this way here in Middlebury. Dom Crowder on the second possession explodes for 75 yards, then punches it in from 6 yards out. Raiders had a 7-0 lead. Carter Soltzwis added a 36-yard field goal with plenty of leg. 10-0 Raiders at that point. Then the defense does its job with a safety, makes it 12-0. Logan Hooley moving the team down the field. He'll give it to Crowder again for his second touchdown of the night. 19-0. It looked like we were in blowout city, but Hunter Dutton finds Amarian Moore 80 yards on one play. It's 19-7. Back come the Raiders. They'd get another chance. Hooley pump fakes, and then he goes up top and he finds his receiver Brent Woolsey for the touchdown. 26-7. Jack DeArce comes back the other way. 69-yard strike, 26-14. But right before half, Brecken Judd with the reception. Crowder's third TD of the first half, 33-14. Phew, lots of numbers.
Boy, and a lot of offense for both these teams, as you would expect. 230 yards passing for Concord. Most of it came on those 2 plays, 249 total. They didn't rush for much, just 14 yards. But look at the, rather 19 yards, but look at the rushing yardage and the balance for Northridge. 114 on the ground, 182 through the air, almost 300 yards of offense in the first half. They had 4 penalties for 20 yards, while Concord had a bunch more. And you look at the turnovers, none there, but the time of possession is huge right here. 17 minutes and 40 seconds for Northridge, just 6:20 for Concord, because they scored quickly when they did score. And other times the defense for Northridge was very efficient. So I'll tell you what, the Raiders are on top 33-14, and you'd say, well, that's pretty comfortable. They know better. They'll be ready to go in the second half.
Especially with the way this Concord offense can strike. Now, we're here at this beautiful Interra Credit Union field. Seems appropriate. We should have a special feature tonight. Andy Marshall is the Chief Operating Officer of Interra Credit Union. If that name sounds familiar, well, it's the name underneath our scoreboard, and it's also the title sponsor of this beautiful field here. What made Interra want to get involved in this particular project?
Well, we've just been looking for different ways to get involved in the communities, and this was one that where this facility or the school system hadn't made improvements to its football facility in over 30 years. So when the need came open and the opportunity to partner with them in their banking relationship, we thought, what better way to get involved but to give back in this project and grab the naming rights for the stadium.
The slogan is, we get it, we live here too, and I know all of your employees are happy to be involved in the community. What are some other projects that Interra is involved in right now?
Yeah, I mean, coming right up on Columbus Day, Monday, we're serving 20 different not-for-profit communities. All of our staff will be out working for different groups, building handicap ramps. We'll be making masks. We'll be doing all kinds of different charity work with food pantries, things, and just, really showing that, that we're really involved in our communities here.
I couldn't help but notice the colorful wristbands that you have on. And you were telling me that one of those wristbands represents how employees are dealing with COVID at your Interra Credit Union.
Yeah, absolutely. We found this idea that another company back early in the spring when this all hit, this gave us an opportunity for our employees to create a little bit more comfort when they interact with other employees. And we put these signs out and say, if you're in a green wristband, you're more comfortable with COVID, you don't need as much social distance, you're willing to fist bump or, maybe even hugs if that's the way you are. Yellow means, hey, I'm a little bit more cautious. I might have a compromised immune system or I have a family member that is. If I'm wearing a red, that means, hey, stay back. I'm really concerned. I'm sick or I have been sick. I have an elderly someone that I'm in contact with on a frequent basis that may be more at risk than others. And it's just been a really comforting thing for our staff.
How about for the customers? What have they been experiencing at Interra during this outbreak?
Yeah, it's been a challenge for a lot of people because, it's a divisive issue. But we've really tried to make everyone feel comfortable with their financial needs. And thankfully, our community has really came back quicker, I think, than a lot of areas around the country. And so we're not seeing as much of people struggling, I would say. But we're doing everything we can, from modifying people's loans, giving people deferrals, refunding fees, anything that we can do that's going to help, help people get from one month to another with their financial needs.
That's Andy Marshall from Interra Credit Union. He's the Chief Operating Officer. And of course, Interra, our scoreboard sponsor on the 46th game of the week. We're at halftime between Concord and Northridge. Second half play-by-play comes your way after this on the 46th game of the week. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week brought to you in part by Crown Trophy. They're nationally known and locally owned. Halftime just about wrapped up here at Interra Credit Union Field. Northridge on top of Concord 33-14. We go downstairs for a Bills Heating sideline report. Bo Hunt, I'm sure Craig Kaler's scratching his head a little bit trying to figure out what to do. What advice would you give him?
Well, I think one of the things that didn't work in the first half is the running game, but the passing game did work just on some big plays. So I'm not sure if they even go to the running plays at all and just stick to the pass. The biggest thing with that was that Northridge was able to get some big stops early in this game to build this lead and sustain that, because they've answered everything that Concord's thrown at them. So maybe one of the biggest things is defensively being able to stop Northridge's passing game, because out of nowhere, all of a sudden, Northridge is thrown for over 180 yards in the first half. They're only averaging less than 100 yards a game passing. So maybe that's one of the biggest things they need to step up. Guys?
Yeah, I'm sure that had to be a surprise for the Minutemen. Bo's right. 76 passing yards per game for Northridge coming in.
And they are nearing 200 in the ball game already. Chuck, one of the things about Concord, they haven't had much of a running game, as Bo said, and they've been able to hit a couple of deep routes, but they really got to come up with some type of a draw or a screen, because that Northridge defense is really putting their ears back coming after the quarterback, and he's been able to dodge a couple of situations. But if you run a little bit of a screen or draw, make those linebackers and some of the secondary stay honest, it's going to give you a better chance on the long ball. And right now, they need a couple of touchdowns, as they did in their game against East Side. If they get that, we're hooked in one. In the meantime, Northridge knows that they might need another score to wrap this one up.
Third quarter sponsored by KZ Recreational Vehicles and Carter Soltzwis with a kick 5 yards deep in the end zone. No big deal, his 5th touchback of the night. So 1st and 10 from the 20 for Concord, which is hit on 2 big scoring plays tonight, an 80-yard pass to Amarian Moore and a 69-yarder to Jack DRC.
Folks, Middlebury Community Schools, a top-achieving school district, inspiring students to change the world. Middlebury Community Schools, where achievement and innovation are hallmarks of a great education.
Hunter Dutton at quarterback here for Concord from the shotgun. Empty backfield. Raider blitz picked up. Throw into the flat, too high for Amarian Moore. Brecken Judd was there on coverage.
A little bit more of a medium route.
So 2nd and 10. And the one thing is, incomplete passes will stretch the second half out a little bit. We'll see if Northridge, even though they've had a lot of success with the passing game tonight, decides to run it to try to dwindle the clock down a little bit here in the second half.
7 out of 13 passing tonight for Dutton.
Dutton fires, and this time he's got his man out in the flat, and that's going to go all the way up to the 28-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and 2. As making the grab out there was Brendan Stockman, his 18th catch of the year, but his first of the night. Stockman had a big night last week against Eastside with 7 catches in that game. 3rd and 2, and with Northridge looking so much for the pass here, let's see if Concord tries to cross them up with a running play here. Well, they did, and Northridge saw it coming. Ball pops loose. Crowder has it, his 4th touchdown of the night. Titus Hackworth was leveled, the ball popped out, and even with the one arm, Dominic Crowder able to go scoop and score. You'll see it again. Jensen with the big hit for Northridge, and Crowder says, I'll take that.
Well, one thing that Concord absolutely didn't want to have happen, but it happened early. They still got time, but they're going to get a little character check here in the second half, how they rebound from that.
Northridge counting players. They were missing one, and so Ibrahim Kaucha will come out and play on the line for special teams. Logan Hooley adds them all up and gets ready to make the hold for Carter Stoltzfus. Snap is clean, kick is up. It is no good. He missed it to the left. But just 53 seconds into the second half, and the Northridge defense now has 8 points on the night, a safety and a touchdown.
Would have been 9 points, yeah. And again, that's the first turnover of the ball game. And Craig Kaler, I'm sure, coming into the ball game, thought there might be 1 or 2 turnovers, but they've got some work to do. Chuck, one of the things I liked about that possession for Concord, not the final play, obviously, but the fact that they threw about a 7-8 yard completion. And I think they've got to have a ball control type attack. You can go deep every once in a while, but if you're not keeping them honest underneath, if you go 5 yards, 8 yards, 6 yards, I think they can move the ball down the field.
Well, an impressive display by the Northridge Raiders here tonight. Up by 25 here early in the second half. And really, there has not been a facet of the game. I guess you could say, well, their secondary's been beat deep twice, but that's it.
It really is. That front line's been really, really good for Northridge. Of course, maybe Northridge saw that Warsaw score at halftime.
Soltzwis, another touchback, and Concord will start 1st and 10 at the 20. If you're looking ahead for these two teams, it's not an easy road for either one of them. Northridge has Mishawaka coming here next Friday night, and then they open the tournament at home against Leo, ranked number 5 in 4A. Concord goes to Warsaw next week. That's not an easy task. And then after a bye, South Bend Adams comes to Jake Field. Adams and Jimtown tangled up in a good one tonight over at School Field. Here's the throw by Dutton, a little high, and the catch made that time by Jack D'Arcy. Nearly came out of his uniform, but he makes the grab for a pickup of 7 on the play. Well, actually, it's an 8-yard pickup. They'll spot it up at the 28-yard line. Heck of a hit that time on defense by Northridge as Mason Puckett came up from the safety spot. Dutton to throw again. Lobs this one down the field, and it is somehow snagged by D'Arcy. What a catch! Jack D'Arcy with another snare. And D'Arcy moving the ball downfield to the 47 with info you should know from Ancilla College coming up after this play. Dutton gonna go to the air again. Lobs it down the field too far for Brendan Stockman. But when you talk about Jack D'Arcy, you're talking about one of the best receivers in the state of Indiana. D'Arcy came into the night ranked 18th in the state with 36 receptions for the season. That's info you should know from Ancilla College.
That last catch was remarkable how he came up with it.
25-yard pickup on that one for D'Arcy. 2nd and 10. Dutton to throw again. Has to scramble. Fires on the run, and guess who caught it? D'Arcy down at the 30-yard line. Craig Kaler says he has had more than one opposing coach come up to him and say, that's the best football player on your team, because he plays on both sides of the ball in special teams, and somehow he is always open. 17-yard pickup that time.
Another nice pickup, another first down.
Empty backfield here for Dutton. He fires again. This time he's got Koltukian making the catch, and Zavin Koltukian hauled down at the 23-yard line after a 6-yard pickup. For Koltukian, that's his 9th catch of the season.
And again, taking what they're going to give. Now, you can't spend all night doing this because you got to get back in the ball game, but 11 out of 18 now.
Oh, I think Concord will spend all night doing this. I think they may have run the ball for the last time on that fumble.
I totally agree with you. I think it just, well, there's a guy that can run.
Well, Dutton's going to heave it out there. D'Arcy comes running for it, and D'Arcy can't make the catch down at the 8-yard line. It's broken up nicely by a pair of Raiders, and one of them remains down on the field. You'll get another look here on the Aegis Dental Group replay, and with all the thudding going on out there, it's Cam Waters, who is the injured player for Northridge, down on the field.
Well, 3 players came together on that. It had a lot of loft on that pass.
So with 9:18 to go in the third. Tom Woggeman helping Waters get off the field. And it'll be 3rd and 4 for Concord from the 23.
This will be the 7th play of this drive. And I think we're in 4-down territory.
Well, down by 25, I imagine so. Dutton from the pocket. Scrambles again. Dutton on the run, has the first down and more as he steps out of bounds at the 16-yard line. But we have a flag for holding back at the 28. Northridge lineman got tackled by the Concord offensive line.
It's unfortunate. Dutton made a nice read there. He can
Watching the middle of the screen here, Bob.
Oh, yeah. Two-man takedown. What do you get, 2 points for takedown in wrestling?
Yep. So Tom Wagaman looking on from the sidelines will obviously take the penalty to negate the first down. And it sends Concord all the way back to the Northridge 38. Now they're looking at 3rd and 19.
It's 47 yards in penalties tonight.
Again, Dutton forced to scramble. Heaves it down the field, and the catch is made down there by Koltukian, who just posted up like he was playing hoops. Going for a rebound, he makes the snare at the 18, and that's a first down for Concord. Here's another look from Aegis Dental Group. Dom Crowder can do a lot of things, but at 5'8", he can't get over 6'5", or 5'11", he can't get over 6'5". 21 yards on the pickup. Now Dutton throws, and that's a one-hopper intended for Stockman that time. So it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Minutemen.
12 out of 21 now, 290 yards passing for Concord.
But the problem is Concord, with the turnover here early in the second half, that has thwarted them. And absolutely no running game tonight.
Well, after all these passes in this drive, I suppose they'd run a draw play?
No, 2nd and 10. Dutton slings it out there, ball caroms off of a couple of players. It was intended for Amarian Moore, but Taylor Tidwell batted it up in the air, and then you saw Mason Puckett nearly able to pick it off as you watch it again. Actually, batting it up in the air was Colin Rumler that time, it looked like.
11th play of the drive coming up, Chuck. The only running play in this drive would have been the quarterback keeper, but they called that one back because of a penalty.
3rd and 10, you can see the camera shaking as the fans stomp on the bleachers, and somebody got a quick head start for Concord, so it'll be 3rd and 15.
Second penalty of this drive, 52 yards in penalties now. And back they come again, but maybe it'll give them a little more room.
So the Aegis Dental Group replay, take a look. The slot receiver got a good head start that time. And here's 3rd and 15. Dutton to throw. Fires. DRC dropped that one.
Looked like DRC was trying to make a cut before he finished the catch.
He was thinking of the move he was going to make to get the first down. And in thinking of it, he took his eyes off the ball. So 4th and 15 now for the Minutemen.
3 straight incompletions on this drive.
And another drive where Concord gets into the red zone, but they need to be able to finish. Low snap. Dutton firing for the end zone. Koltukian makes the grab. Touchdown, Concord.
Gets a little congratulations from the secondary guy from Northridge saying, hey, great catch.
Zavan Koltukian makes his first touchdown grab of the night and of the season. And Concord's on the board again as you get another look from field level. This one coming right at Patrick Kelly, our field camera operator. And Koltukian took it away from the one-armed bandit, Dom Crowder. 23-yard touchdown. The extra point is up, and it caroms off the crossbar. No good. And so we'll take a timeout with 8:18 to go in the third. Hunter Dutton's 3rd touchdown pass of the night to 3 different receivers brings Concord back within 39-20 on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week brought to you in part by Imagineering Finishing Technologies, IFT, where quality is a way of life. Chuck Freeby, Bob Nagel, Bo Hunt back with you from Intera Field in Middlebury, where Northridge leading Concord 39-20, but still a long way to go.
5 minutes and 20 seconds on that drive, and Chuck, as you mentioned, they will keep doing that because they're very effective with it, but when you had those incompletions, it also stopped the clock, so it wasn't quite as time-consuming as it might have seemed like it, but boy, they overcame a lot there. Again, 2 penalties on that drive, a 5-yarder and a 10-yarder, and they were able to overcome that. But it's sort of like when we're playing golf and you make a bad shot. This game isn't that hard, is it? You got to just quit having those penalties.
Well, and Concord really needs to force a turnover from Northridge if it's going to get back in the game. Yordi Amaya's kick taken down at the 12-yard line. And racing up the field, a stop by Zavin Koltukian on special teams at the 28-yard line as he brings down Justin Puckett.
Puckett's been a weapon here tonight. We talked in the first half about both teams needing to find other people to step up, and Puckett's been one of those guys. His receptions and a couple of runs, he's done a nice job tonight.
1st and 10 from the 28 for the Northridge Raiders. This will actually be Northridge's first possession of the second half. Defense scored the first touchdown of the half. Logan Hooley had himself a huge first half offensively for the Raiders.
Perfect. 10 tries.
Career high passing for Hooley tonight, but he's going to keep it on the ground here, pitching out to Dominic Crowder. Crowder is upended by Stockman at the 29-yard line. Pickup of 1 on the play for Crowder, who was over 100 yards rushing himself in the first half.
Got 101 right now. That is 14 carries for Crowder tonight.
Crowder, by the way, his career high, 158 yards, came against St. Joe last year.
Northridge wouldn't mind taking about 5-6 minutes off that clock.
Just shy of the 30-yard line on second down. Hooley keeps it himself, squirts through the hole and takes it up to the 33-yard line. Anthony Ernest, a member of the track team at Concord, as he flings the discus, makes the stop on Hooley.
Folks, Soltzwis Power Equipment is where you can get the tools and equipment for all your outdoor needs, specializing in Kubota, Steel, Toro, and Skag. Check them out online at SoltzwinPower.com. Soltzwis Power Equipment, where service is their #1 product. Proud to support high school athletics.
3rd and 5, big third down for the Concord defense. Hooley fires, has his man, and Brecken Judd is able to hang on for the first down, sponsored by the Middlebury Community Schools, as he goes down at the 45, but we've got a flag on the play. Judd went tumbling down the field, but we'll see if this one comes back. Holding called against Northridge. That's a huge penalty on the Raiders, who have had their share of them this year.
The Raiders now 30 yards in penalties.
But it negates a 30-yard pickup by Northridge, which would have been a first down. Instead, the ball marched all the way back to the 23-yard line. And the Raiders looking at 3rd and 15.
Yeah, you wonder if it isn't a good idea here for Concord to load up and send a couple of guys in there. See if you can't, #1, stop the play, but #2, maybe cause a mistake by Northridge.
Hooley's been throwing darts out there all night. 10 of 10 passing. 3 receivers to his left. He's going to try to scramble here. Running up the field, and he's brought down at the 30, and another flag comes in. Grayson Mast makes the stop, but if this one is against Northridge, Concord will likely decline and force the Raiders to punt. So Craig Kaler says he wants to make Northridge kick it here from its own 30-yard line.
I think the yellow flag's got more airtime than anybody else tonight.
Terry Leak won't wind up on a milk carton anytime soon. We know where he's been all night.
The penalty is declined.
7-yard pickup on the play for Hooley. but it's 4th and 8, and Hooley will probably have to do the kicking. And the dangerous Jack DRC, who does have a punt return for a touchdown this year, will stand back at his own 35-yard line. Hooley averaging 36 yards a kick this season, but he booted a 49-yarder earlier in the game.
Hooley ran with the ball last time, still has missed a pass tonight.
This high kick, DRC will take back at his 26, but he's got room to run. Great move, knocked out of bounds at the 43. So that is a 44-yard punt, but a 17-yard return by DRC. The Minutemen making a stop, and all of a sudden have a shot here with 5:58 to go, third quarter, trailing by 19 still, but first and 10 at their own 44.
Good field position to start the drive.
Hunter Dutton, the Concord quarterback, looking over to the sidelines to get the play call from offensive coordinator Lalo Rolone. Dutton, high honor roll student at Concord, member of the baseball team. Threw for 251 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. He's got 3 tonight. And Dutton fires a dart to Koltukian, who's tackled from behind at the 49-yard line. And it looks like a Northridge player who made the tackle might be Zach Howie. No, it's not Howie that made the stop that time. It's Clint Walker, and he's on one knee and not able to get off the field.
321 yards passing in this ball game for Dutton, and if he's not careful, he might equal his season total.
Well, that's a career high for him, 321. His previous career high came against Goshen when he chucked it for 266. Came in with nearly 1,100 yards passing on the season. Dutton, quarterback draw, eludes some tacklers. Ball pops loose, and the Raiders are all over it. Another Concord turnover, it appears. We'll wait for the official signal. It's Northridge. It's got to be Northridge ball because Puckett's holding it down at the 32. You get another look from Aegis Dental Group. Dutton, and the ball poked loose there. And then the massive scramble for it. And the little guy, Mason Puckett, all 5'8" of them, comes out of there with it.
This is the second carry of the night for Dutton. He took a shot.
Second turnover of the night for Concord. And again, the Minutemen plagued by turnovers.
It's been amazing. And again, if you go into a ball game, you lose the turnover margin 2-0. It's not going to help you. Folks, wouldn't it be great to work for a company where their employees are the most valuable asset? Well, now's your chance because Reshcore is hiring. They have production positions available in a team-driven environment with excellent benefits that include medical, dental, and a 401k.
Hooley going deep. Touchdown, Northridge. Brecken Judd, 57 yards, no flags. Take another look from Aegis Dental Group. Play action, and Judd ran right by the safety. Boy, oh boy, Logan Hooley having himself a career night. Here's the extra point by Carter Soltzwis. It's up and good with 5:06 to go in the third. Northridge with a season high. They've got 46 on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week brought to you in part by Intera Credit Union. We get it because we live here too. Chuck Freeby, Bob Nagel, Bo Hunt back with you from Intera Field. 46-20 in favor of Northridge. not exactly what we envisioned watching the passing attack of the Raiders dominate tonight.
Well, and he didn't have the respect to let me finish my live read there, so we'll tell you about Reshcore a little bit more in a moment right after this.
You can probably do it on the kickoff because you know where Carter Soltzwis is going to put this one.
Folks, wouldn't it be great to work for a company where their employees are the most valuable asset? Well, now is your chance because Reshcore is hiring. They have production positions available in a team-driven environment with excellent benefits that include medical, dental, and a 401k. Working for this steadily growing company isn't a job, it's a career. Learn more about joining the Reshcore family. Visit Reshcore, that's RESCHCOR.com.
Anthony Mensah drilled into the field turf that time. Making the hit on special teams was Colin Rumler. So Concord has to take over back at its 15, once again down by 26.
Well, they're wearing out my stat sheet, partner. Can't remember when we've had a game where close to 600 yards passing.
You would have to go back. I remember we did an Adams-Washington game when Garrick Dieter was playing at Washington. And I think you'd have to go back to that game when both teams were chucking the ball pretty well. And we have a whistle here and a timeout taken by Concord. We'll keep it right here.
560 yards passing in the ball game between these two teams, and both quarterbacks done a nice job. Folks, this broadcast being brought to you in part by Imagineering Finishing Technology, saluting the players, coaches, and all the team members who work so hard to be successful. At IFT, we put our team to work for you, setting the standard for metal finishing solutions. Reach us at iftworldwide.com. Like the teams in this game, we're working toward a great finish.
In Michigan tonight, White Pigeon has defeated Cassopolis by a score of 20-0. But the score that everybody in the Northern Lakes Conference would be keeping an eye on is in the fourth quarter, with Northwood leading Warsaw 22-21 at Jim Andrews Field.
Wow.
What and of course, a Warsaw loss makes the Northern Lakes Conference race very scrambled.
What a courageous effort being put forth by that team down there at Northwood. They've had so many key losses. Nate Andrews rallying his troops.
Churubusco has beaten West Noble tonight by a count of 29-6. Here's Hunter Dutton looking to throw. Fires, and he's got Zavin Koltukian coming out from that H-back position up to the 26-yard line for the first down. And Koltukian here in the second half has really become a weapon for this offense.
Well, he has, Chuck, and we mentioned when we saw him in practice that you got to get his hands on the ball on offense a couple times. Thought maybe from a halfback spot, but it's kind of a controlled passing game, and he had a nice pickup there.
Long legs, and he can cover some ground. He picked up 10 yards there. On first down, Dutton wants to throw. Pressured by Jensen, trying to hit Koltukian there, but just trying to get rid of the football. Clint Walker had the coverage that time for the Raiders.
15 of 26, 331 yards passing.
And yet still trailing by 26. Now that's not all Dutton's fault, although he's had a couple of key mistakes tonight.
Well, and there was a coach up on the north side a few years back that used to say, you show me a team that's leading and passing, I'll show you a team that's behind.
Dutton to throw again. Under pressure, fires, and that ball short hops into the receiver. It was intended for Stockman, but incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Well, Dutton took a hit, didn't he?
He's had some pressure tonight. There are times that his offensive line has given him time to throw, but other times that he's felt the heat bearing down on him. And again, the problem here for Concord, well, Concord doesn't want the clock to run, but with these incomplete passes, it stops it. Dutton slings it out there. Jack DRC didn't make that grab. It's intercepted. Cam Waters makes the pick for Northridge, the 3rd turnover of the night for Concord. Right at the midfield stripe. You get another look from Aegis Dental Group. Threw into double coverage, and Waters made a beautiful read.
Sure did. The ball was up there long enough for him to get in position. Partner, we've still got 4 minutes to go in this quarter.
And the ball's sitting at the midfield stripe.
There's got to be a certain element, too, of Craig Kaler's thinking that if we come in here and we've got 20 points on the board in 3 quarters, we're going to be doing all right. But I tell you what, Northridge has been sensational offensively.
But especially when you consider this is a Northridge team that was giving up just over 7 points a game coming in, yeah, Concord's offense would be thrilled with 20. Problem is, I don't think their defense had any idea of giving up 46. Here's Puckett trying to get to the outside, and Anthony Mensah upends him at the 49-yard line. Actually, they'll generously give Puckett the 50, so no gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10. Mensah has been playing a lot on both sides tonight. You take a look at Micah Hostetler down there on the sidelines with that dislocated ankle in a wheelchair.
Protecting Northridge, taking as much time as he can between plays now.
Puckett weaving his way through people, taken by Koltukian at the 45-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 5 for Northridge. And yeah, I'm sure Tom Wogelman wants to work some clock right here. He'll take his time sending the plays in. This time Barrett Rushley will bring it in to that man, Logan Hooley, who has had himself a career night throwing the football.
Yeah, we talked about how that possession-type passing for Concord was going to be effective. Well, the running by Hooley early on has been effective because they're watching him every play.
3rd and 5. Hooley stumbles as he goes forward, and Koltukian makes yet another tackle. This time past the 45 at the 44. It'll be 4th down. Likely a punting situation here for Northridge. Raiders trying to go to 6-1 on the year. They face a very tough Mishawaka team next Friday night here at Intera Field before opening the tournament against number 5 Leo, but again playing at home.
Teams playing Northridge are going to look at these numbers passing and just, wow.
Hooley drops back in what looks like punt formation and indeed sends it hurtling down the field. DRC's going to let it roll wisely as it goes into the end zone for the touchback. And so Concord will start at its own 20 with 2:03 to go here in the 3rd. Bob, an impressive performance here tonight. Let's go downstairs for a Bills Heating sideline report. Bo Hunt, I'm sure that as opposing coaches, including Keith Kinder for next week, look at this tape for Northridge. If you're the defensive coordinator, what do you try to take away first?
Well, I think the biggest thing is you take away Crowder, but then you got Hooley to deal with, and it's not just a passing game, it's the running game as well that he can beat you at. So I think that's one of the biggest things that you got to do, and you got to really, I think, basically get after him and get him out of the pocket. He's had so much time in the pocket tonight. The offensive line has just done a great job for him.
Dutton with a completion to Jack DRC right on up just shy of the 30-yard line. It'll be 2nd and short. Some finals coming in now as we see that Dowagiac up in Sturgis has beaten the Trojans tonight by a count of 12-0. And we can also report that South Bend Adams has beaten Jimtown tonight 28-16. So the Eagles move to 4-4 on the season.
Darcy with 6 receptions tonight for 60 yards.
Here's Dutton scrambling, and Dutton looks like he got the first down up to the 30-yard line.
The big thing is he hung on to the ball.
Although they're going to spot it short of the 30, and it's going to be 3rd and inches. You see the clock in the bottom right-hand corner of the Intera Credit Union scoreboard.
Be a good place to have Koltukian in that backfield, but
Dutton flings it out there, and it's a first down. Braden Stockman makes the catch, and Brendan Stockman takes it up to the 41-yard line, so pick up a 12 on the play and the first down for Concord. Clock running as they move the chains. Concord going with empty backfields here. Just trying to rack up points as quickly as they can. Dutton under pressure, fires, and it's dropped out there. He was looking for Armin Koltukian that time, and Armin couldn't hang on. It'll be 2nd and 10. A couple of Northridge players slow to get up in the Concord backfield.
turnover on Nagel just a couple minutes ago. I said they had 60 yards of receptions. That's 129. He had the 69-yard touchdown pass.
Mr. D'Arcy now has had back-to-back weeks of over 100 yards receiving. He had 127 last week against Eastside. So 2nd and 10. Dutton fires. Nice catch made. That's Stockman again. He makes the snare up at the 46-yard line. Pick up a 5 on the play. And we'll see if Concord fires off one more play here before the quarter ends. 3rd and 5. Dutton does get the snap off, but a flag is thrown, and it might be a false start against Concord. In their rush to get off another play before the quarter ended, they cost themselves everything they picked up the play before. And for Dom Crowder and Northridge, very satisfying night so far. Crowder with 4 touchdowns, and the 3rd quarter will come to an end here at Intera Field in Middlebury. Emotions have been high in this Northern Lakes Conference rivalry, a rivalry dominated by Concord overall, but certainly by Northridge tonight. They're up by 26 as we go to the 4th on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week brought to you in part by the Jordan Auto Group. Simple, easy, stress-free. Chuck Freeby, Bob Nagel, the 3rd member of our crew. Bo Hunt down on the sidelines for a Bills Heating sideline report. Bo, I know you haven't seen Leo this year, neither have we. I know they're ranked in the top 10, but I can't imagine any team coming in here to Intera Field and dominating this Northridge team, can you?
Yeah, I mean, what a fantastic job they've done on both sides of the ball. And I think that's one of the biggest things coming into this game was, what were they going to do offensively? Like, last week, 7 points. Their defense, we know their defense is very stellar out there, but what could their offense do? Well, I think Logan Hooley really answered that question tonight. And that's going to be just a dual threat with Crowder, the size that he has and the ability to just pound the football with some speed as well. But Hooley as well with just his arms and his ability to scramble. Just a total package they have out here, guys.
So Dutton hit Anthony Mensah for 2 yards. It's 4th and 8 here for Concord, trying to convert. Dutton in trouble, and down he goes. The Northridge defense with a sack back at the Concord 40. And once again, it's Trent Jensen who's having a big game on the defensive line. He had help that time, though. As Connor Kripe comes in and makes the hit as well, you get another look from our friends at Aegis Dental Group. So Jensen and Kripe combine for the sack, and Northridge will take over in plus territory again at the 39-yard line. We'll see how long Tom Wogeman sticks with his ones here in the 4th quarter, up by 26.
Well, get some tough competition coming up next week with Mishawaka, and then, of course, the tournament. We've got a tough assignment there against Leo.
Logan Hooley at quarterback. We'll hand off to Dom Crowder. Big hole for Crowder. Runs into the official. Crowder carrying people down to the 17. Crowder having a big night. Hauled down that time by Adrian Martinez, but he is slow to get up right now. It looks like he might have hyperextended something in that leg, or maybe he has a cramp.
Been in there on just about every play here tonight. 124 yards rushing for Crowder. If you can't
Crowder
get up,
will hobble off the field, but he's had a big night running the football with 4 touchdowns. First one coming on a little pitch, and then they just used him as a battering ram down at the goal line, pinballing off of people on that run, banging over people on this one, and then he'd have a scoop and score on defense. And Dom Crowder with a night to remember.
he really has. And I was going to say, if he was going to be down on the field, needed help getting off, they need a forklift.
Trainer working on that cramp that Crowder has. 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. And they'll give it to Justin Puckett here, and Puckett goes for 3 before. Oh no, that's Ricky Lloyd with his first carry of the night, the 5'11 sophomore. Lloyd with just his 6th carry of the season. And he runs it for about 3 yards right there.
His best carry of the night.
Lloyd had a 69-yard touchdown in Northridge's win over Plymouth this season. Raiders looking at a 2nd and 7. They'll give it to Puckett. Puckett gets slammed down hard by Gabe Mayo. They couldn't hold the Mayo that time as he was able to come in and slather himself all over Puckett.
Oh my.
Had to wait till the 4th quarter.
That's right. Folks, KZ Recreational Vehicles is proud to support high school athletics. We're expanding, and that means we're hiring. So come in, join your hometown employer. That's KZRV.
And our friends at KZRV sponsoring this 4th quarter here tonight. 3rd and 6 for the Northridge Raiders. Hooley keeps it himself, brought down at the 13-yard line. Adrian Martinez in on the stop that time. 4th down and 5 here for Northridge. And Tom Woggeman feels like it might be rubbing salt in the wound to go for it, so he'll send the field goal unit out.
Well, this is a little more than an extra point. And he's going to have Carter Stoltzwis put a foot to it.
Soltzwis kicked a 36-yarder into the wind earlier tonight. This one would be a 30-yarder. The snap is clean, the kick is up, and it is good. So Soltzwis nails it from 30 yards, and Northridge with its biggest lead of the night. The Raiders doing everything right on the way to a 49-20 lead over Concord on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you in part by our friends at TCU. Grow your future. Visit TCUnet.com.
49 points in that board for Northridge already. And partner, we've been here for a record-setting night. The most points they've scored in this new field, this new stadium. Beautiful job here by Ventura.
Another final popping in as Fairfield stays unbeaten on the season and clinches the Northeast Corner Conference Big School Division title with a 42-0 win over Lakeland. Here's Amarian Moore on the kickoff. Moore can't get around Zach Howie, who throws him down at the 15-yard line.
Well, let's see if 8.5 minutes to go, if they don't start clearing the bench a little bit. Get some of those younger guys in there. You certainly know what your starters can do for both teams, and there's still more football to be played this season, so it won't be hard for Concord to figure out what happened with 3 turnovers to none. A lot of penalties in the first half. They made enough mistakes to be behind. I'm not sure they thought they'd be behind by 29, but
16-yard line, the line of scrimmage. And the handoff here, fumbled in the backfield, and Northridge has its 4th turnover of the night. Peyton Shook Pounces on the loose change. A botched handoff between Dutton and Hackworth, and Shook is there to scoop it up. Rough night for Concord.
Boy, they turned it over deep in their own territory. They're going to mark it at the 4-yard line.
And we'll see a new crew of Raiders coming onto the field here, as Northridge will put the backups in. And that means Gavin Collins at quarterback. Collins with Jaden Medina on his right, but he hands it off to the back on the left, and getting down to the 1-yard line before Armin Koltukian is able to make the stop is Ricky Lloyd.
Nice pick up about 3 yards. Good movement by that front line. 6 yards for Lloyd tonight.
So Northridge a yard away from making this a running clock game. Collins with Concord showing blitz. Collins hands it off, and there just wasn't any room that time for Jaden Medina to run. The 5'8" sophomore brought down actually for a loss of 1. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 2.
Dom Crowder over here telling his head coach, I can go in.
More finals. Lakeshore beat St. Joe tonight. The War on the Shore 26-0. Mishawaka over Wawasee by final score 42-7. Here it's 49-20 with the Raiders looking at 3rd and goal. Collins hands it off. Touchdown, Northridge. Ricky Lloyd finds pay dirt. Ricky Lloyd takes it in from 3 yards out. And it'll be a running clock the rest of the game here in Middlebury.
Oh, man. 4 turnovers to none. Boy, you don't have to go in many of the columns on my stat sheet to figure out what happened tonight. But Chuck, when they made the change with the quarterback, that means that Logan Hooley's going to finish tonight. Again, it's unofficial, but I got him 11 out of 11 for 239 yards.
Carter Soltzwis' extra point is blocked, and so it's 55-20 Northridge. And they do stop the clock on situations like this with 6:46 to go.
We want to thank St. Andrews Products for helping our crew look good tonight. They're ready to do the same for your team. Reach them at sales@standrewsproducts.com. With all the top lines in apparel, business gifts, and advertising specialties, we're ready to help your school or company. At St. Andrews Products, our answer is always yes. Now, what's the question? And I got to add, Chuck, they've got to go on their website. They've got some wonderful gifts for Christmas if you want to order them ahead of time, maybe for your group or team or maybe your company. So St. Andrews Products, great ideas for the coming holidays.
Or if your masks are wearing out.
Yeah, they do those.
So Carter Soltzwis has had himself a pretty good night. TCU student athlete, a couple of field goals and a number of touchbacks as well. And he'll look for one here as he sends it downfield, but this kick will be taken down at the 3-yard line by Anthony Mensah. Mensah gets a block from Amarian Moore, cuts it down the field and goes out of bounds right around the 27-yard line. But again, the clock won't stop as Concord will hustle onto the field.
And we can tell you that the Element Masters in Middlebury is your authorized trained dealer serving all of Michiana. They install, maintain, and repair heating, cooling, and ventilation products, making your home a comfortable place for life to happen. They also offer 24/7 emergency services. The Element Masters, call them at 574-825-8824.
Congratulations to Joe Sassano up at Niles. They beat Kalamazoo Loy Norix tonight 14-7. Whistles blown here. They'll stop the clock for the flag. Also tonight, we can tell you North Judson beat LaVille by a count of 9-7.
Oh,
Tippecanoe Valley over Manchester 48-18. And Pioneer hammered Culver 54-6.
by the way, when I reacted that way to a 9-7 score, I'm thinking what a great ball game that would have been to see, because both those teams really terrific ball clubs. So congratulations to the Blue Jays.
1st and 15. Hunter Dutton throwing out in the flat. Has a completion to Anthony Mensah, and Mensah takes it up to the 39-yard line for the first down. Also tonight, Northwood has defeated Warsaw 22-21. So Northridge and Mishawaka will be playing for a share of the Northern Lakes Conference title next week here at Intera Field. Here's the handoff, and Concord will run it with Anthony Trudell, and Trudell takes it down to the 39-yard line. Pretty nice run for Trudell that time as he picks up 23, the longest Concord run of the night.
And it almost doubled their rushing yardage. Prior to that play, they had 26 total yards, so now they are at 49 yards on the ground.
Minutemen keeping their starters out there. Dutton has had his biggest night of the season throwing the football. But he'll hand it off to Trudell again, and about 6 Northridge jerseys there to help make the stop. Ricky Lloyd coming over to make the hit that time. He had help from Eric Jennings, sophomore defensive end.
Well, I think just out of respect for his opponent, I believe that Concord is just going to go ahead and try to run the clock.
So it's 2nd and 9 from the 38.
You don't want your quarterback to get injured, and Northridge has a lot of backups out there in the field.
Here's Dutton, hands it off for Trudell, who almost dropped it. Now Trudell rambles on up to the 30-yard line. Lloyd makes the stop. Short of the first down, it'll be 3rd and 1.
TK Steel proudly supports the Northridge Raiders and wishes them good luck in tonight's game and the rest of the season. TK Steel would like to give a shout out to a special senior, and boy is even special tonight. Number 15, Logan Hooley. Have a great year and keep up the great work from the team at TK Steel.
So 3rd and 1 from the 30 for the Minutemen. Dutton throws to Trudell, swinging out of the backfield, puts a move on one man, gets the first down, and takes it down to the 27-yard line. 1st and 10 from there. They move the chains, but the clock continues to tick, and we have 2:30 left.
Reminder once again, folks, that KZ Recreational Vehicles is proud to support high school athletics. We're expanding, and that means that we are hiring. So come in and join your hometown employer. That's KZ RV.
Tom Wogeman about to celebrate another win here at Northridge and see his team go to 6-1 for the season, entering the season finale with Mishawaka next week. Lloyd takes down Trudell at the 21-yard line as we hit the 2-minute mark.
And a chance for at least a tie in the Northern Lakes Conference after the result tonight with Warsaw Northwood. How about Northwood getting up off the mat?
Again, with the 3rd-string quarterback, I imagine, Kyle Sellers, but the difference is you had a week to prepare, and you were also facing the exact same offense you faced the week before with Mishawaka. That had to be a benefit. Trudell bouncing off tacklers, takes it inside the 20 to the 18. Concord trying to use a hurry-up offense here, and Craig Kaler trying not to use timeouts here if he can help it. He's down by 35.
Bus is warming up, and they'll be heading back to the Concord High School later tonight, and they'll regroup. And again, the great thing about the tournament in Indiana is that everybody's qualified already, so you can make adjustments and see what you want to do, and they'll be working on improving maybe that running game for next week.
Well, Trudell uses a stiff arm there to get around a tackler. Banging into people, takes it down to the 10. Concord with a new quarterback in the game as Tommy Kinsman in for the final 90 seconds of this one. Trudell getting some workhorse duty here in the fourth quarter. Don't forget, coming up after this one, we'll have the Stutzman Power Equipment postgame show featuring our KZ Recreational Vehicle Player of the Game. Final 30 seconds of this one from Intera Field, unless the Minutemen dent the end zone here. Kinsman went to hand it off. There was nobody there. Kinsman trying to run, goes out of bounds, but again, the clock will continue to run here. The officials get it up to the line of scrimmage in a hurry, but that's going to do it from Intera Field tonight as the Northridge Raiders have defeated the Concord Minutemen by the final score of 55-20. Northridge now 6-1 on the year as Concord falls to 4-3. Don't forget, we're back with our post-game show from Stutzman Power Equipment and our KZ Recreational Vehicle Player of the Game after this on 46.
Thanks for watching the WHME TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week. Brought to you by
Welcome to the Stutzman Power Equipment postgame show after a 55-20 Northridge win over Concord tonight here at Intera Field. Chuck Fraby and Bob Nagel high above the fray. An impressive performance by the Northridge Raiders.
Really was, offensively and defensively, as we've heard after the game. And the thing is, the defense did so many things, 4 takeaways. They scored on a safety as well. And, boy, when you score 20 points on the road at Northridge, you think, hey, we're going to be in the ball game. Wasn't the fact tonight because the defense accounted really for about 25 of those points.
KZ Recreational Vehicles sponsors our player of the game. A man who was perfect tonight stands by with Bo Hunt.
Standing by with our player of the game, Logan Hooley. First off, 55 points tonight, 11-11, 239 yards. Just talk about this victory.
Yeah, it was definitely a good victory, good team win. We played really good, both sides of the ball, running, passing, catching, everything. We just did very good.
You guys are known for Crowder running the ball, just his big size and just your offense running the ball, but yet tonight you guys were able to open it up. I think early on Crowder was able to get a lot of runs that opened up that passing game.
Yeah, that was definitely what opened it up. They were focused on Crowder as it should be, and then it opened up passing game for us, which then allowed us to put points on the board while Crowder was still able to run the ball.
Just recently we just heard Warsaw was upset, and so that puts you guys in control of your own destiny next week. You guys beat Mishawaka. You guys have a chance to win the conference. Just thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's so exciting. We were just talking about it with the coach. We've been talking about literally since last year, since summer, coming to our home field and playing Mishawaka for a chance at the championship. It's always been something we want to do.
You guys are very known for your defense, giving up 4 shutouts on the year. Just talk about that defensive stance that you guys have out there.
They're always very good. It makes it 10 times easier for our offense, and it's hard to score on them.
Logan Hooley, our player of the game, all 5'8" of them. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Bo. And you were mentioning, Bob, the fact that the Northridge defense, because of the turnovers they were able to create, really counted for almost half of the points for the Raiders.
They did tonight, and one of the things that we should mention as well is the quarterback Dutton for Concord threw for 339 yards tonight. So he did some really good things, but they also put the ball on the ground. And, again, early on, they get down the field. They used 11 plays to get down the field and tried a field goal. Didn't make it, and it almost seemed to take some wind out of their sails.
So Northridge plays Mishawaka next week. The winner gets a share of the Northern Lakes Conference title. Could win it outright if Concord can go to Warsaw and get the upset. We'll see what happens there. We look forward to being with you again next Friday night. Our thanks to everybody here at Northridge High School for their hospitality tonight. Our producer, Dean Korsmo, sure appreciated the help, as did Tony Beltran, who got some help getting to the field tonight because he had a flat tire on his way to the stadium. But that's okay. No flat tires for us. We keep on rolling next week as we take you over to Atulski Field in Mishawaka for the renewal of the rivalry between St. Joe and Marion that comes your way next Friday night at 11 on TV 46 and at 6:45 on Facebook, YouTube, and the IHSA Champions Network. And don't forget, we're just 2 weeks away from Big Ten football on the radio. IU and Purdue have their home on Pulse FM.
Now for my broadcast partners, the Hall of Famers, Bob Nagel, Bo Hunt, it's Chuck Freeby. Once again, the final, Northridge 55, Concord 20. So long from the Crystal Valley.